Begin.
We're good to go.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the July 18th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. Before we begin with announcements, I want to extend a very warm welcome to our new board member, John Brevin. And I'm sure I speak for the board in saying we look forward to working with you and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following also will be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting and go instead to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd like you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For those of you with us here tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. We'll begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being moderated by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it's their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in this boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with the recording of our proceedings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. A reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, state their address for the record, and offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us tonight, individuals commenting on a particular application have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure the documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number, and that the application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for public comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and or dropped off at Town Hall with the board's secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the June 20th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
All right, that a motion by
Me, Bob.
Bob and seconded by Kevin. Okay.
Me, Bob.
Okay, Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Brevin.
Aye.
Ms. Kane. Aye. Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you. John, do you want to take us through the agenda?
Yes, we're going to begin with the adjournments. Case number 4, Raymond Topping Jr., 231 Halsey Lane, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-87-2-14 will be re-advertised for August 15th, and we don't need votes on that. Turning to case number 9, Matthew and Tracy Marafi, 79 Inlet Road West, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-176-1-6 will be adjourned to October 3rd. Need a second.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Brevin.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Number 10 on the agenda, application of Patrick Gordon and Zach Robbins, 494 North Main Street, North C, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-132-2-5.2 will be adjourned to September 5th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Number 11 on the agenda, Gary Fitterman. Application of Gary Fitterman, 645 Dune Road, West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-391-2-25.1 will be adjourned to August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Number 13 on the agenda, application of 3310 Noyak LLC, 3310 Noyak Road, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-14-1-66.5 will be adjourned to August 1st.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
The following decisions will be adjourned to our August 1st meeting. Patricia Spado, 45 Pinecrest Lane LLC. Mary Lee Kreshe, Argon Ashlani, 43 Newtown LLC, 142C Newtown LLC, Martha Shabla, and Eva Wisnowski.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
The decision on the application of Dennis and Arlene O'Rourke will be adjourned to August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And finally, I move to reopen the application of JP Squared LLC.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I move to close the application of JP Squared LLC for written decision later tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, number 1 on the agenda, application of Mark Greenberg, 12 Island View Drive East, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-24-2-10. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1, Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a principal rear yard setback of 36.2 feet where 50 feet is required for a proposed one-story addition. And 2, Section 330-76D, Placement of Accessory Buildings, Structures, and Uses in All Districts, and Section 330-83C, Yards, to allow the proposed swimming pool to be located within the minimum required side yard for the principal building on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Julie, please?
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Carl Benacasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill, New York, for the applicant.
Okay. Tell us
As
about the
Mr. Leonard
application.
mentioned, we are requesting essentially two pretty straightforward forms of relief. One, a pool that you can see on the proposed map, this proposed survey I provided, and 2, a home extension which would accommodate 2 bedrooms for the owners of the home, my clients, who are looking to expand a little, as this is going to be the home, their retirement home, which they plan to occupy for the remainder of their lives. The lot benefits in some way in that it is based on when it was subdivided and its single and separate nature of existence. It has C zoning, which C-res under original Southampton Town zoning, which means its side yard setbacks are 15 and 35. Everything complies with that. Front yard setbacks, everything complies with. The things we need relief from are essentially this one corner of the deck, of that rear deck, is 36.7 feet. When under zoning C-res, it has to be 50 feet from the rear yard. If you can see on the map, this lot is somewhat challenging topographically. And the orientation of the original home is not, because of that, is sort of slanted against the natural dimensions of the lot. If it weren't, we could have easily met the 50-foot setback. But because of the configuration of the home, the topography of the house, the fact that it's limited in a great sense as far as what is a reasonably buildable area, we do need this relatively minor relief, which is not unique to this neighborhood, which is actually the one I grew up in that a lot of the homes have this sort of challenging topography. It's a very hilly area. And similar relief has been granted around the neighborhood. At the corner of Highview and Harborview Road, which is just around the neighborhood, there was a reduced front yard setback from 40 feet to what is under current code 60 feet. So a 20 feet in relief for an in-ground swimming pool that this board granted in 1985. In 83, this board granted a variance at Harborview and Hillview Drives at that northwest corner for a front yard of Highview to 57.6 and a rear yard to 27.5. So again, somewhat greater than what we're asking for. And there was also a variance granted at the corner of Harborview Drive and Islandview Drive, allowing for a front yard to 40, when again on that lot the front yard was 60. So again, somewhat substantial relief, given the specific restrictions of zoning, have been granted in the area. Is this an undesirable change to the neighborhood? No, I think it's quite in line with the homes around the area, what they look like. We're not talking about a massive home at all. You can see from the elevations that we provided that this is a modest structure, both in its current state and after the expansion. Most of the homes in the area have pools. Is there a feasible alternative? Given the topography and the existing orientation of the home, there really is not. In the same vein, this was not self-created, and it's not substantial in nature. Again, given the character of the community, the other relief that's been granted around the existing nature of the homes, and again, the general difficulties both with lot size and with topography in the area. So in light of that, we would propose that this relief is in line with the 5 standards and reasonable under the circumstances.
So I have a question for you. In your application, and I did go out and see the property. It's so pretty over there, by the way.
Yes.
You grew up in a very nice place.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of, construction underway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit hard to see from the street. But
The house itself.
yeah,
yes.
the house, it is. But you have said in your application that there's not a feasible alternative, and I was just wondering, does a second story create other problems? Is that the issue?
So we discussed that.
Okay.
They are advancing in age, and they
I
did
see.
not. They wanted to avoid that.
Okay.
But that was certainly part of our discussion
Okay.
when they brought it in. And steps are something they're trying to avoid.
I have a question, Carl. What are the setbacks, the side yard setbacks?
Under the C-Res,
Yeah.
minimum is 15, and the max and the total is 35.
This is for principal
For
building,
principal.
accessory.
Oh, for accessory, they're even less. I think
All
they're.
right, but I'd like to know, because you have 7.3 feet for the pool.
Is it 6 feet accessory in C-Res? I think that's what it was.
Going on memory, I believe it's.
I think it's 6 feet. The building department reviewed this and said we didn't need that.
Pool
Okay.
doesn't need variance.
Doesn't need a setback.
Setback
variance.
variance.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay, because
But I think it
wanted-
was. I believe it's 6 feet. Sorry, I should know that off the top.
Yeah,
of my head.
it
Yes,
would be
you should.
helpful to have that. It would be helpful just in terms of a write-up and everything else to say that,
I'm going with 6 feet.
Wait, I do have it, hold on. C-Res,
C-Res.
accessory structure 6.
Yeah.
okay.
See, I gotta trust myself.
And rear, okay, good. Oh, so then when you said everything else complies, everything else does comply.
It's just the positioning of that pool within the principal side yard,
Right,
as you know, and
right.
then the rear yard setback of the extension.
and I didn't get to the property, but describe the hilliness of it. You said that
It's
there's.
I want to say
So
the
is
hills
there-
above Sag Harbor, but that doesn't sound like much. But it's a bit of a hilly area. You know where Brick Kiln Road is?
Yes,
up in that
okay,
area.
Okay,
It's on Highview, and I don't know if
Okay.
you know that road.
Okay.
So,
So there's not a flat area?
it's
or
not,
anything?
none of the
Okay.
lots are flat.
And Susan, this one is really, for the hilly neighborhood, this one's
It's
sort of
very
perched atop.
Yes, it
Okay.
is, yeah.
Okay, good.
Is it well buffered?
Yes, from what I could tell, and again, it was a little hard to see all around, but there was a lot of buffer.
Have you heard from the neighbors at all?
We have heard from no neighbors. No.
Are there any other questions from the board on this application? Is there anyone in the audience on the application of 12 Island View Drive East? Is there anyone on Zoom on the application? Okay, thank you, Kevin. All right, Julie, it's
Yes.
yours.
Okay, so we are gonna close the public hearing and keep the matter open for public comment until August 2,
Yes.
with a decision slated for 8:50.
Second.
Ms. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Reppin?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Carl.
all.
Thank you, Carl. Number 2 on the agenda, Isaac Furman, 61 Halsey Lane, Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-114-3-23. Applicant requests the following relief from Town Code Section 330-11.2F, Special Standards, to legalize an accessory apartment above the detached garage on a non-conforming lot. 1. Lot area of 43,759 square feet, where 64,000 square feet, 80% of the required 80,000 square feet is required. And 2, an accessory side yard setback of 20.3 feet, where 21 feet is required, 70% of the required 30 feet. And 3, an accessory rear yard setback of 20.3 feet, where 21 feet is required, 70% of the required 30 feet, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction, meet us at the bottom.
Are you an attorney?
No, I am not.
Okay, so let me swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
James J. Stout. I reside at 2 Gregg Lane in East Northport, New York.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm here this evening representing Mr. Isaac Furman, the owner of the property.
Okay, Mr. Stout, would you like to tell us about this application?
Absolutely. I am here this evening to, we're trying to maintain an accessory apartment that would be over an existing 2-car garage that's detached. The property in question is in the R80 zone, so we are required to have 80,000 square feet. This is a non-conforming lot. This existing lot has 43,759 square feet. Therefore, we were looking for relief of that. That would be 36,241 square feet that we are short from what is required. However, our lot coverage in this zone is required to be 10%. The current lot coverage is at 7.73%. When Mr. Furman purchased this house, this finished space was already in the second floor of the garage, and that's why we are maintaining it. We're trying to maintain it as it's built as a little accessory apartment. We're trying to maintain it as such. There is no outward change to the structure of the building at all. Nothing has been changed. No windows. It is exactly the way that it was originally designed. And when it was originally designed, it did come before the board for a variance due to its location on the property.
But as a garage?
But as a garage, yes. So at that time, still the side yards were required to be 30 foot. The rear yard was required to be 30 foot. Presently, we have 20.3 feet. So we would, on both of those yards. So we would be requesting relief of 9.7 foot from the side yard and also 9.7 foot from the rear yard. Let's see, we've also, it has been looked at by LHDB. They reviewed this to see that there was no significant impact to the historical character of the structure of the site. We do have an historic home at the front of the property. But the garage is definitely not part of that. As far as this having an adverse effect on the neighborhood, again, like I said, this structure has stayed intact. We haven't changed anything with the outside look. It's been there for close to 25 years. So it has been a part of the neighborhood for that long with no issues. Could we say that this was self-created? Well, it was self-created, I guess, when the gentleman bought the property with it already in place. And he is just at this time trying to do the right thing by legalizing it and being able to use it as that accessory apartment. As far as some of the special requirements for an accessory apartment, the square footage that we have in this space is at 317 square feet, which would make it an efficiency. The regulation for the efficiency, of course, is between 220 and 400. We fall right within that in that zone. And also the 35% of the total area of the principal dwelling, well, we're only at 13.9. So we're well within those parameters.
See, with a one bedroom or two bedroom?
It's an
One,
efficiency.
just one really open
Yeah.
area.
Bob, this is your application. Do you want to start any questions? Okay. So this structure's been there in place for 25 years.
Yes.
I actually view the property from the street. It's very well vegetated. It seems incredibly protected to the neighbors. And of course, it's summer, so everything is in full bloom. You know, it looks a little different in the winter, but right now it looks pretty good. It's charming. You know, we're looking to try to encourage accessory apartments. I'm a little concerned that it's been actually functioning as an accessory apartment up to this point without permission. So that's one of my hesitations. But other than that, I don't really have any major issues with this. As I said, the setbacks on the side and the back, very heavily vegetated.
Yes.
Um,
With evergreens.
Right, right. Anybody else have
Has this already been built?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it
exists.
is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has. I didn't
And-
see that in your.
And it's been existing
In your
as an
application.
accessory. Structure's been there for 25 years. I don't know when the accessory apartment, you don't know.
I
new
don't know.
build,
My
new
client
owner.
doesn't know either.
Yeah,
Now, you have a right of extinguishment through the affordable housing program, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so is it going to be part of the affordable housing program,
I
or is it
believe-
going to be used for family use?
I'm not sure that that decision has been made. Mr. Furman did say that he would like to have it for family use.
That doesn't, just to clarify for the board, that doesn't mean it doesn't satisfy the affordable housing requirement.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's an income thing, and when you have these rentals, it's not like the single family. You have more leeway in who you can rent to, provided you just meet the income guidelines. So,
Right.
Just to clarify that.
And you can use it for a family member,
Yeah. And just
either a
to-
qualified, income qualified tenant or a family member.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Just to help Mr. Stout out, just to clarify,
Thank you.
you mentioned the variance that you were asking for. Yes, the minimum lot area is 80,000 square feet, but the minimum that you have to meet for an accessory apartment is 64,000. So
yeah.
there's just so you know. And with the setbacks, yes, the setbacks are 30 feet under zoning, but for an accessory apartment, you got to meet 70% of what the setback is. So that's why. So you're not asking for as much relief as you.
Thank you. Yes, and I believe it would be come out to 68%. So we're almost at 70, but not quite there.
Okay. And then in terms of parking, you've got to provide one parking space. I didn't see any notification on the survey about where parking is, so it looks like there's the garage, the two-car garage, and then it looks like a little parking area right next to it as
Yes,
well.
there is, and the
Okay.
driveway is close to 90 feet long.
Okay. So that shouldn't be an issue.
Do we have any inclination to condition the approval for an accessory apartment? Do we have an inclination to condition the accessory apartment for the program you were just describing?
But it's one of those, one or the other. It's either going to be affordable or it's
But do we
family.
want to?
No, that's just the way
Well,
the
you've
law
already,
is.
you've already been approved for the program, correct?
Yeah, the extinguishment of the development right.
Yeah.
If the town gives you the development right, it has to be used for affordable.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to be sure that.
No, it's a good
No,
clarification.
that's
It's a good
very-
clarification, yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Any other questions from the board? Are there any questions from the audience on the application of 61 Halsey Lane? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 61 Halsey Lane? Okay.
Yeah.
We having trouble, Kevin?
Yeah, they're just not joining right now.
Is it fixable, Kevin, or not?
Yeah, it's just them not accepting the integration.
They're not accepting? Do they know they have to accept? Okay, we'll give them another minute or two.
It looks like
Can I,
something's
can I ask a
happening.
question while we're waiting?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So I'm assuming the septic system for the garage accessory apartment is a separate and not co-joined with the main structure.
It will actually be tied into that system. We have proposed the system with the health department where it is. And
Are you getting the upgraded technology? or-
yes, yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay.
And to clarify that, it used to be certain areas of the town, every septic system upgrade now has to be the new Iowa system.
Good for you, Anthony. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear us? No? Can you unmute your? Yes, hi, can you hear us? No. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Are you an attorney?
Hold on 1 second, I think they're watching it on their device as well.
All right, okay.
Oh, and that's the reverb.
Not working.
All right, we're having some difficulty here.
And technology's all at the same time.
My name is Kevin McKinney.
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not. I actually am a resident of Southampton.
Okay, I need to swear you in before you say another word.
Okay,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
that's it.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Kevin E. McKinney, 70 Highview Drive, Sag Harbor, New York.
Okay, Mr. McNady.
I submitted a letter to Candace Powell regarding 12 Highland East, which was not represented in the earlier discussion. We were having problems
It's not
getting
here on
in.
this hearing.
Oh, that was the
We
first
were-
matter.
We couldn't seem to get in.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We're
And
okay. I'm gonna have
But I
to.
wanted to be recognized that the letter did get you.
Look, you submitted and confirmed that that letter was in there.
Okay, we're gonna confirm your letter was in there first. We're gonna take a look at the submittals. It didn't come in our packets that were sent to our homes, but it may be in.
Oh, was it emailed? No, it's the one
It's not- it's on the
before.
first
No,
one.
it's the first case.
So,
We still have a clue to submit on that anyways.
Candace, do you remember if it's included in the
It's the one
submittal?
that has the photograph on the back, it's a double sided.
Yes, yes.
He has it in.
I
Okay,
see it.
we have received it.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, green
Well, we
burners.
wanted to make sure that you heard our strong objection to this proposal. And we have lived here for 47 years next to that property.
Okay, we can't take any more testimony on this because
Yeah.
this is the second public hearing, so the board has your letter.
We have the
Okay.
letter, it will be in our packets, we'll be considering that prior to our
All right.
decision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
sir.
All right, is there anybody here on Zoom on the 61 Halsey Lane application?
No, no, it's on Zoom.
Okay, all right, Robert, this is
Okay,
yours.
this is mine. I'm gonna move to close the meeting, hold it open until August 2nd for written submissions with a decision on August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Mastonio,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Ribbon,
Aye.
Mr. McDonald,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess, Ms. Kane,
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you
Thanks,
very
sir.
much.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good evening.
Number 3 on the agenda, Ocean Road Real Estate LLC, 412 Ocean Road, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-87-2-18.1. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed tennis court on a non-conforming lot. Section 330-6 General Regulations that references Section 330-11 Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory rear yard setback from 30 feet to 20 feet and an accessory side yard setback from 30 feet to 25.8 feet and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Hold on one second, Brian. just
Yep.
so I can
Yeah,
write
of
this
course.
down. This is all going to, hold on. All right, this is all going to John.
Yep.
And then everybody take one of these.
Which John?
John
Great
Leonard.
question.
John Leonard.
Okay, so did you take the,
No, I
all right, you didn't.
Yeah, John has.
We're gonna have to
No,
say.
this isn't the one
okay.
that's been stamped.
Oh, this is.
Oh, no, it is. Sorry.
Okay.
And then I'll get a copy.
All right, Brian, why don't you introduce yourself?
Good evening, board members. Brian Locascio, 2462 Main Street, Bridgehampton, New York. And I'm also here with co-counsel Ed Berg Jr. of Sag Harbor, New York, here on behalf of the applicant, owner of 412 Ocean Road, Bridgehampton, New York. As stated in the notice, we're here requesting relief for a 55 by 110 sunken tennis court in the rear yard of the property. The property is currently improved with a single-family house, pool, and cabana. The main force driving this current location, the tennis court, is two-part. One is they wanted to have an adequate separation between the pool and the tennis court for the children of the family to have a yard to play in and not have them running in close proximity to the pool. And two, with the way the house is situated, it doesn't run parallel to the rear yard, but they wanted to have an orientation or consistency of the structures. So that's what drove the tennis court in the location it is. As stated, the applicant did reduce the size of the court to 55 by 110. We are sinking the court. The property is heavily screened already as it exists on both the rear and the side yard. The final 11 by 17 page that I submitted in my packet shows the 2 yards that we are requesting relief from. The top picture is the rear yard. As you can see, there is tall evergreen trees screening the property, and these will only continue to grow with time. And that is a property where we are requesting 10-foot relief from that property. And then on the southern property line, the side yard, we're requesting 4.2 feet. And again, that property line is also heavily screened as it exists. We have letters of support from the neighbor to the south, as well as the neighbor to the north, in support of the application. Those are provided in the packet. And in part of our discussion with the neighbor to the south, they did ask that, which is something we already planned to do, but as the court is sunken and fenced in, we're actually going to be putting additional landscape screening around the immediate proximity of the tennis court. So there will be additional screening to damper any noise that may come out of the sunken court where it is. And just with the way this property is situated and the property to the rear, there's actually a retaining wall in the rear, so we actually sit lower than the property to the rear. So there's a lot of just natural mitigation of the sound that occurs as the property exists today. The tennis court certainly is a common amenity in the area. The property adjoining to the northwest contains a tennis court, as well as across Matthews Lane and just throughout Bridgehampton. This board has granted numerous tennis court applications with more substantial relief than we were requesting today. I offer that this is the minimum relief necessary to achieve the applicant's goal of having a tennis court while still maintaining the proper rear yard to have a safe area for their children to play and traverse the yard without, being in close proximity to the swimming pool. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I've submitted aerials so you can kind of get a lay of the land to see where this tennis court is going to orient with respect to the neighboring properties. All the adjoining houses are relatively far from the proposed location of the tennis court.
Appears to back up some driveways.
Correct, yep. Yeah, and the property to the north, there appear to be some structures and heavy screening on both sides of the property with the house sit back southeast or west of the property.
What about the neighbor to the west? Have you heard anything from them?
The neighbor to the west, we've not heard from. We notified them, but they did not respond, but with no objection from anyone. So, otherwise,
I think
this is a rather routine.
I think this is very reasonable relief given the context. So.
It's already cleared the land too as well. It's gonna be something.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And I just wanted to ask about the pool and the fencing, because there was a concern about safety. So the pool isn't being fenced right around the pool. You've got a backyard fence. Is that
There is perimeter fencing, all the standard gates on the property.
All right, but it's not around the pool.
There's not a fence immediately around the pool, correct?
How old are the kids?
I don't know the age of the kids, but they're young. There's a play set and a trampoline at the property, so they are younger children.
Okay, because I don't think it's an enormous amount of relief being requested. I mean, the fact is that it will be sunken. There'll be a fence around the tennis court.
Yep.
So it's not as if there's like all level and the ball's going to roll into the pool and the kid's going to dive in after it. So I don't see that as being it's an issue, but it's not.
Well, it's more so the other just children playing absent the tennis court, just them having the ability to have a backyard and space to just get from the playground to their deck or as it may be.
Okay.
You said there's gonna be additional landscaping around the country.
Correct. Yep. And we're happy to offer that we maintain the screening as evidenced in the image here in both the rear and side yard. So we'll always have adequate screening and offer that we will put landscaping around the immediate proximity of the tennis court. If that's something you need, we're happy to offer that.
Okay. John, any questions?
No, I said what I had to say.
Okay. Terrific. Anybody else on the board wishes to ask a question? Is there?
I can understand that point of view, and I just think there's a much easier way to almost comply, but I'm not going to fight about anything.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 412 Ocean Road, Bridgehampton? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 412 Ocean Avenue? Okay, John.
I move to close the public hearing, hold it open for written submissions for August 2nd with a decision by August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Revin.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank
Thank
very
you all.
much.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening. I appreciate it as always.
Number 5 on the agenda, Wilderness Trail JV LLC, landlocked property in North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-79-1-33. Applicant requests the following relief from Town Code Section 330-82 lot width. 1, to allow a road frontage of 0 feet where 40 feet is required for proposed lots 1, 2, and 3, and 2, to allow a road frontage of 0 feet where 20 feet is required for lots 2 and 3 of a proposed 3-lot subdivision to be used as flagpole lots and any other relief necessary.
4 jurisdiction.
Did
Candace,
he-
do I have this file?
Sorry.
I gave it to him.
No, not you, Carl. Candace.
You have
Do I have a folder for this?
no soup.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong one. I'm reading the topic. Can you pass that to Susan, please?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Good evening, Carl Benincasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill, New York, for the applicant. This is kind of an interesting one, and there are many concerned neighbors. Some of them are here, and you'll hear from them. This parcel is a large parcel, roughly 600,000 square feet, located off of Wilderness Trail. It's actually Wilderness Trail, which is adjacent or across street with 7 Pond County Road. The reason I say it's located off with a Wilderness Trail with some hesitancy is because it's actually right now not. There were two subdivisions that gained access to this lot from Seven Ponds Town. The first subdivision was in 1980. And it was Joe Gos's son. But it was the map of Watermill Woodlands in 1980, and it created a subdivision of multiple lots, each of which gained access off what this portion of the road, which is known as Wilderness Trail. And 2 years later, there was a subsequent subdivision. That subdivision accounted for these 4 lots, and as part of that subdivision,
Go a little slower.
sure, as part of that subdivision in 1980, the 4 lots were given this road, future road, is what the subdivision called it. And you can see it on the subdivision. It's small right here, but it's this right here.
Do we have these documents?
The subdivisions, I don't know.
Because
know.
I haven't seen.
We would
any
only
of
have
that.
them if you submitted them.
Yeah, no, then you don't.
Okay, because
But
that would
we're-
have been helpful. Take a look at this.
And then we take, this is all just background.
Yes, okay.
The ultimate decision is pretty straightforward. They created a future road granting access to these 3 lots. Now, this road has never been opened, and this trail, which came with the dedication to the town, has never been accepted by the town. So this exists as a private right-of-way, and this exists as an open road, giving access to these 3 lots.
That's arguable though, because typically your proposed lot, your lot is not part of either one of those subdivisions.
It's
Correct?
not, no.
Correct.
No.
So that's one of the things that Carl's gonna have to submit to the board is a legal access for him to get to this lot.
Yeah,
Right,
Because
my
he's not
question-
part of the
But
subdivision.
that's
The question
part
I
of the
had
planning
is
board
there,
process.
does the right of way
It's part of this
benefit
board.
these
This
3
board
lots?
can't grant no road frontage if there's no legal access.
Sorry.
So
And the legal
does this
access
right
being-
of way benefit these 3 lots on paper?
He's
that
gotta
was
show us that
my
it does.
first question.
He's gotta show us that it does.
And
The-
when you
does the-
talk about the legal, you're talking about like a permanent easement?
Yeah, easements
Yes,
or.
absolutely, a permanent easement covenant.
So, yes, there is this trail that exists here, which if dedicated to the town, and we've talked to the highway department, will be a public road, off of which this lot can obtain access. It's already been dedicated, we've talked to the highway department, they are willing to accept this into the highway
Which does
system.
go all the way to the lots.
It goes to right here. Then there's the subdivision, which called for a future road, right here.
Town
Same
already
thing.
accepted that.
Town hasn't accepted this, it hasn't been opened. But we've also obtained a right-of-way over the owners of this property's access, who's willing to provide access
Which is
to the
this
lot.
property? What are you,
To the
what are you
north,
pointing to?
Matthew Breitenbach's property.
Right and back, okay.
You have a
That-
right away on his, for his
We have an easement or in place over his property.
file of it.
Has it been, yeah.
Signed, not recorded.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna need that case.
It sounds like we're gonna need a lot of information already.
Well,
Not-
just those
no.
documents.
Yeah, those documents.
Carl would need to submit something from the highway department saying that they were gonna accept this and make it a town road, and then, you know, the.
So they're gonna make Wilderness Trail from Seven Ponds Town Road to the dotted line a public road. Is that what you're saying?
They will accept into the highway system, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the only issue is from the dotted line to
The lot.
your
The
3
lot.
lots.
Which, as a condition of the subdivision, established this future road for the benefit of this lot.
Okay. What
main
about
lot.
Holly Dunham?
What about Holly? She's
That's
here.
okay. So no, but you said you have an easement with regard to Mr. Breitenbach. I was wondering, do you have an easement with regard to Ms. Dunham?
No, we don't need
Okay.
one with regard to Ms. Dunn.
Why?
Because there's a future road at the 1984 subdivision established what is this future road here for the benefit of this lot. And I will demonstrate all this. And then
Because we haven't gotten it demonstrated yet, Carl, in fairness, we just haven't seen that.
it's been 5 minutes.
I
will
know, I'm
demonstrate.
just saying that
Then
those are the documents.
We have a right of way.
He's just heating up.
Then we have a right of way over Matthew Breitenbach's property because we wanted to avoid using the remainder of that road to disturb other properties. The first part of that future road on that 1983 subdivision is open and in use. The second part is not.
Okay.
So rather than disturb it and open up a road, what would be on another neighbor's property, we got access off of Breitenbach's lot
So is that narrower portion?
No, it's not even
Not even drawn.
demonstrated on there.
Oh, it's not even on here yet?
No, but we'll show you what it is. What
Okay.
it is.
Carl, I went to the site, I'm totally confused as to exactly where this is. Because when I went, the Wilderness Trail seems to end. There's like a little bit of a circle or something.
That's this circle right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. All right, and then it looked like,
The future road hasn't been opened.
I understand,
Yeah.
but I was trying to figure out where it was gonna go. I didn't, and then I see Breitenbach's property, 125 or whatever it is, was to the left. I didn't know whether you were supposed to go further left, past Breitenbach's, or, I was totally.
It is hard when you get in there and
Yeah, it's-
looking at it from above and being there, it's very two different things.
Yeah,
So when you saw Breitenbach's property, is that driveway to the left?
right. And so I was looking at the property to the left.
To the right.
What you're talking about is this
Well, it depends.
subdivision.
I'm looking
Future
at
road
it this
is
way.
to-
If you're looking at it from the way you're coming, it's to,
Yeah, yeah.
to the
It's
right.
to the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, to the
Okay,
right,
you were just
on the-
confusing
on
me.
The house on the left.
Oh, don't start with that. House on the left, house on the left.
On the left driveway, right back to the
So
right.
what I'm saying is that if you come to the end of the road, you have to go further to the left to look for the future road of the subdivision. Not, so like
You come
straight
to-
ahead,
let me-
it looked like straight ahead, there was like a division, there was like Breitenbach, and then there was another house up on a little bit of a hill,
Yeah.
right? Is that the Dunham house?
No, the Breitenbach's on a bit of a hill.
Yeah, they're all on a bit of a hill, but, I'll tell you, it was incredibly confusing for me. I was having.
Because this trail is not really a road right now.
Is it acceptable?
Right.
So,
It's accessible.
No, it's paved. I mean, it's
It's
not
paved,
like, it's
but
not
it's
like
not-
it's dirt or anything
It's,
like
it
that.
looks like more of a driveway.
is this premature? I mean,
That's, oh
doesn't
my
it
God.
doesn't it suggest that everything you're saying is that you think you got, we can't be shown tonight? So with all due respect, shouldn't you just go get all that and come back and show us how you have it all connected, and then the rest of the conversation we can have?
Well, the variance is, can we get into what the variance is for, or?
What do you mean, of course?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Let's get into that. So what the variance is for is each lot per code requires direct access to a road, either 40 feet frontage or if it's a flag lot, 20 feet. Regardless of this future road, regardless of Wilderness Trail, access to Seven Ponds Town, which is the nearest public road, is not available. It's not available for multiple lots in this subdivision. And in fact, almost every lot in the subdivision has been granted this variance. Specifically, the most recent was to 94 Wilderness Trail, which is the lot right here. These two lots were granted relief from this board, allowing for a 0-foot setback. In the decision for that, the applicants, the zoning board noted that 4 of the lots as part of the subdivision map of Watermill Woodlands, have received variances for this exact relief, for road frontage. So it's common. Everything in the neighborhood has got that. Now, if Katie wants me to actually demonstrate the rights of access, we can definitely do that. And it wouldn't take me long to do that, so.
Oh, no,
yeah.
you're gonna have to. I
Yeah.
mean, and this board, you know, we did this recently with that application for Katie, right? You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like we basically, sometimes there's already a pre-existing access and it's easy. We just say, oh, they've already established it. Sometimes they'll acquire the access if they know they're gonna get the variances. So they're not gonna file easements if they're not gonna get the variances.
And
that's
we've
But
the
even
in-
made
but in this
easements a
one-
condition of getting the variance,
Sure,
filing
but in this
recording the
one, it's a
documents.
little more unusual, and that's why I was kind of saying to Carl, because he's not part, the subdivision that he's referring to, the 4-lot subdivision that did get the variances for no road frontage, that they're entitled to use those roads. This lot, Carl's lot, is a single and separate lot that's not part of those subdivisions, and there's all of this old case law that talks about who can use private roads, right? So I was saying to Carl, you know, he can certainly use Wilderness Trail once it's brought into the highway system, because then it's a town road, but he has to
Exactly.
somehow make up for
But
this, which
that's-
he's saying,
That's
yeah.
the thing, to get that, for them to accept this into the highway system, I guess it's a chicken or the egg thing. We're not gonna get acceptance into the highway system unless it's a condition of this subdivision and my client does the improvements. That was the condition of getting it accepted. So,
You went to road review on this?
it's not road review, it's to the highway department for acceptance of the
Yeah, there's
dedication.
no road review because it doesn't have access, it doesn't have any frontage on a private
road.
road.
Yeah.
It's not a town road.
So a condition of accepting this into the highway system is that we improve pursuant to highway specs, which we're willing to absorb the costs of that. But we're not going to absorb the costs if we can't, so
Can't access the lot.
it can't access the lots.
Well, did you,
What is the road like now?
Not terrible. It's
Is
not
it-
great.
Is it-
It's like a,
Is it paved? Is
it's
it
paved.
dirt? Is
It's
it?
a narrow paved road.
I agree.
is Carl, is Wilderness Trail owned by, does it have a tax
No,
map
it's owned by
number?
Joe Gaza.
It's owned by Joe Gaza. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
like
so
everything else.
to satisfy, to satisfy that condition,
And I've talked to Joe Gaza about getting rights over it. He has his terms.
well, sure, so.
Our terms are preferable to actually improve this road and get it into the highways.
Okay, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is to satisfy that portion, possibly a letter from Joe Gaza saying, I am willing to, to allow this lot access over a wilderness trail, whether or not it's brought into the highway system, right? I mean, as long as he can show that these lots can take access and get over to Seven Ponds Town, that's typical of the ones that you give for no road frontage. We just need to know that they have it.
So even if it's conditioned on a future arrangement that would require the actual subdivision,
Yeah.
that would be acceptable to you.
Absolutely, we've done
Yeah.
that before.
But it just would have, they need something other than just this promise in the future. We want to know that it's going to happen, not that this variance is just hanging out there for 20 years for, maybe the road to be improved or maybe.
It's got to be signed, sealed, and almost delivered.
Carl, did we do,
I don't know how-
pre-application on this?
So we did, yeah. We did a full pre-application.
My question is, this easement that would give you rights to this property, how wide is that easement? Or what would it be?
50 feet.
It's 50-foot wide.
Oh, actually, 60 feet. We did it exactly 60 feet. But it's an
But it
easement,
narrows.
it's not road.
Yeah.
No. This is over the Breitenbeck
Oh,
property.
all right, over that.
But it's an easement, it's not road, so you'd still need this relief.
Yeah, I'm mulling this over in my head because I wasn't involved in the plan review and everything. Just in terms of a subdivision, typically when you guys get 0-foot road frontage, I don't know how often it is for a subdivision, it's usually because someone's trying to get a building permit to build on a property. We're talking about a 3-lot subdivision, so I don't know what the planning board has to say, but I'm sure the planning board wants to make sure that there's adequate access to 3 lots if that's going to happen. We're not talking about a building permit for 1 lot, we're talking about the subdivision of land, so that adds more use of a road and improvements and everything else, and I just don't know what the planning board said about it, so I gotta make sure you get the report.
Yes, let's make sure
This
we
is
get
the
the,
report.
Oh, you have it?
do we have it?
I will.
So
make sure
tell
you
us
have
what
Okay.
it says.
it. The planning board recommends moving forward with the application for 3-lot standard subdivision plan. The applicant's preferred access roadway is utilization of a road reverter by way of the private wilderness trail. That's
but wait,
this
but is-
road reverter, and this is wilderness trail.
But Carl, is that what you're reading from? Is that for your proposed 3-lot subdivision or the subdivision that created the road reverter?
This is my
Yours, okay.
pre-submission report.
Okay.
We didn't get a
So,
copy of that.
there's a road reverter here, and then there's a dedication of a public road. I will get you whatever you want to identify that. We can certainly submit it off record. We have to do secret anyway, so this is getting adjourned, so.
Yeah,
no
but
problem.
those would be the 2
Right.
things. Just you would want to establish to the board how you're going to achieve that.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
We can establish that. Okay. So anyway, after having fully established this, what we are seeking now is, I'm not saying I have, after I will, at some point, we are seeking 0 setbacks, based on what was Katie's recommendation. Originally, we were applying for essentially a reduced flag. So two 15-foot flags instead of 2 20-foot flags. But Katie recognized that given this road is not opened yet, given Wilderness Trail has not been accepted yet, and given that we do in fact want to use a separate easement instead of the road which would impact neighbors' property, the only way to do that would be to ask for a 0 setback, 0-foot frontage, because we will not be directly accessing private roads. It's very common for the area, as I noted. Right here they have it, each of these lots have it, and these lots have it, because they've always gotten it off this Wilderness Trail, which is a small private privately owned road, not owned by the HOA, and was a RO right-of-way established by the 1980 subdivision, which is currently owned by Joe Gazzo.
Can you use frontage for a private road to satisfy the frontage requirements on access? Or does it have to be?
Not always, and that's why these have
Okay.
been there. That's right.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna hear from the audience and from the rest of the board members. It seems, Carl, that we are gonna be definitely adjourning this, and we do need some additional information.
I will happily provide that. And yeah, you have to adjourn it because you have to do secret on this.
Anthony, you said this was an unlisted action, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna recommend coordinating or
Yeah,
not
but the
coordinating?
plan, if we're talking about access, the planning board should.
Okay.
They should. They're going to see. It's their subdivision anyway, and it's in the aquifer. That's why it's.
No,
That's why it's an unlisted.
Yeah.
All right, so this was an initial dangling of a possible proposal, which we are going to,
It's a dangling chat.
we're gonna look for some additional information from you.
Sure.
In the meantime, any other board members who wish to comment on this at this point? So it's a
No.
little premature for us, but we would like to hear from anybody in the audience, if anyone wishes to be heard on this subject. Okay,
1, 2,
do you want to come and sit here, or? Yeah.
Can I do that?
Come on, join
Sure.
us. Yeah, sure.
This way, okay, so I have, a package for everybody.
Karen, you want to?
My name is Karen Pate Murphy. I'm an attorney. My address is 1 Bayberry Lane, Sag Harbor, New York, and I'm representing Samir Carrillo, who is,
See it here?
he's on your map there.
Yes.
So anyhow,
Susan. Hold on,
South.
Karen, they're just passing these down.
okay.
This goes
Susan.
to
So anyhow, I did get to talk to Carl and some of the neighbors.
That's
but,
yours, Karen.
I, just to go, I know we're busy. So initially, my client's position is, why don't they use the flag lots on the north with lot 1? That would be his ideal situation. But I know things happen, I want to have a full record. So anyhow, this lot was created by a subdivision in 1983. You know, it was the 80s. Things were wild. Go to the ZBA, get access, which Carl had mentioned.
There
It
you
was
go.
Bennett was very busy.
There you go.
7 Ponds Lane. So he did this subdivision, and then there was a ZBA decision for these 4 lots. Now this one has the right of way, 50 feet, which you have that in Exhibit A. And then here it just gets a little crazy, and they talked about a future road access, but there isn't an offer of dedication like here, and it's not 50 feet wide.
I would just note the future road in that decision. It notes for benefit of access to this lot specifically.
Well, yeah, it
Land,
did say
it does say
to have
lands
that,
to the
yes.
west. Yes.
But moving along, I have my client's deed. He bought this in 2000, which is Exhibit C. And in the legal description, it doesn't talk about, there's a little bit of a cul-de-sac, which in Exhibit B, if you look, it goes on to my client's property a little bit on Exhibit B.
That's where I was.
See, and so, and there's nothing in his deed, which is Exhibit C, that talks about this. Now, he had bought this in 2000, it was in foreclosure, I think from the original owner was Squires. She had horses or something in 2003, I don't know who owned it, I didn't go back that far. But the idea is he has a certified survey, this is just a copy I gave you, that says, and you have the deed, that he owns this. Now, this is just a little bit of this cul-de-sac, because, you know, the other 2 people kind of go off on their own common driveways. So that's just something that, you know, I think it's a liability for him. It's not that much, and I don't think it really interferes, because he's going north.
So basically, just a portion of this existing
yeah.
cul-de-sac is on your.
Yes, just a little bit.
I think we want to talk to maybe Joe about that.
Yeah.
Is he usually here? Is Gaza here? I
I don't
You
know.
see?
So, yeah, that's the thing. But anyhow, they talk about future road, and then, you know, so we're cutting off this cul-de-sac, but the idea is if you're gonna do 50 feet past what's already been built, you're going on to people's property. I don't know if the town's gonna condemn it, but, I mean, this was 1983, they had a year and a half to build the 4 houses, and I believe one neighbor's house didn't get built until 89, but, you know, the house is there, so we're done, the one north. But anyhow, and also, if there's an issue about, I mean, if he's doing 2 flags, or he's gonna extend through this other person's property, I came across this in another subdivision I was working on, Exhibit D. Instead of doing a cul-de-sac, the state does allow like a T. You know, if you need it for, you know, if somebody gets down here and needs to turn around or delivery, you know, because this cul-de-sac, I mean, I'm just interested in my clients. I know the neighbors are here, but, you know, it would be great to put the road that is 50 foot into the highway system, and then maybe put a sign that, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's not in the highway, I don't know what the terms would be, just to look at that. And, you know, so that's basically my client's position. I know the other neighbors, but it was, you know, it's interesting to see a 1983 subdivision from the ZBA.
Sum up what you just said.
Okay.
In conclusion,
In
therefore.
conclusion, we do not want the road for these 4 lots to be expanded. We would prefer if they had extensions of a common driveway easement.
Okay.
And not develop it to 50 foot.
And not do the subdivision future road, but do the easement.
Yes.
And that's what we have set that, teed ourselves up to do that.
Right.
And
Okay.
you know, I could use a T instead of, you know, maybe, I don't know, the axis, the plan, but that's basically. what
And
it
the
was.
easement would have to be obtained from property owners.
Thank
From
you.
the property
We have it
owners.
already.
You have one.
Well, we
But
have
you
this
don't- you say you
future
don't
road and
need
then
the
to
other.
one. Yeah, that's right.
You don't need the other. What about moving the cul-de-sac to the end? Because I think that T arrangement you're suggesting seems difficult to turn around.
It's actually permitted by.
It may be permitted, but it looks difficult to turn around. Would that be a consideration?
Absolutely. You want to put the cul-de-sac on our property?
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That's
Yes,
all
yes,
gonna
as
be,
long as
that's all gonna be planning.
That's
Right,
the
but
plan.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If
suggesting
you want to
it
make
as-
it a condition of your relief, I think that we'd be open to that. But planning's probably going to want to weigh in before.
Yes,
Of course.
We're gonna definitely
Yeah.
hear from planning.
Yeah.
Anybody else who wishes to be heard? Now come up, I have to swear you in.
You have to come up and be sworn in with the microphone. No,
You
I
can
don't.
stand at the podium or sit, whatever you'd like.
Are you an attorney?
No.
Okay.
Proudly.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way.
Don't take offense.
All right,
God
let me swear
heavens,
you in.
no.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Holly Dunham, 123 Wilderness Trail.
Okay.
I just want to understand.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. I need your last name.
Dunham, Dunham.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to understand, as a homeowner on the road, what my rights are. I thought because it was a private road, I had certain rights, but as I understand, Mr. Gaza owns the road, so he can speak for all of us. So none of us that have houses there have anything to say about this matter, about the road being
Well,
bigger and our property.
I haven't seen anything that says who owns the road.
Okay.
So we need to have some information on that as well.
I'm sure
part
that's
of what
right.
we're
I'm
asking.
sure Mr. Gaza.
dedicated?
No, it has not been dedicated yet.
They're gonna accept it.
Well, they said they
There was,
would.
in the 1980 subdivision, it came with an irrevocable offer of dedication, which has never been accepted. In preparation for this, we met with highway officials who said that, went to the site, Charlie went to the site himself, looked around, and said we would do this with certain improvements. We said we would pay for the improvements.
Okay.
But it's very preliminary because we have to go through this process before they do everything.
Right.
So I understand why you want more, a more absolute answer, and I will try to get you that. I'll see how much he's willing to go before this is. Yeah.
Okay, so to be determined.
Yes, to be
Okay,
determined.
thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on Wilderness Trail?
You want to be heard?
I can.
I actually, you could.
Sure.
Okay, so,
Mr. Bradford is a neighbor to the adjacent lot
which is where?
right here.
Okay,
So what we would have used for access pursuant to the old subdivision future road for this 4-lot subdivision would have gone 30 feet of it would have gone right over. 25 feet would have gone right over Mr. Bradford's property. We have been in touch numerous times. I've actually visited Mr. Bradford's house. to see what his concerns were. His concerns, you're here if I get it wrong. He wants to make sure his property isn't affected, and again, our easement would cut off before it reaches his property. He's concerned about his privacy. These lots are rather large. They are in the aquifer. They are at the lowest or highest, however you want to put it, preservation percentile under the APOD. You can only clear 15% of this lot. The homes, there's a topographic map which has previously been distributed during the planning board. But if you'll see that the homes where they would naturally be situated are pretty far from Glenn's lot, Mr. Bradford's lot, and lots 2 and 3, I don't think he'd even see. But have I covered everything for you?
Yeah, so Carl,
Come on.
You have to swear you in.
Sorry, I tried.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Yes.
the truth. Please state your name and address.
Glenn Bradford, 126 Wilderness Trail. So, Carl has explained to me that my property will not be impacted at all.
Well, the road. Where our goal is to move this road off.
He's gonna, so my house, if you go to the end of Wilderness Trail,
Yeah.
so my house is, if you keep going straight at the end, that's my driveway. To the right is Matt Breitenbach's driveway. So it's been explained to me that they're going to continue the road onto Breitenbach's property to create a single road that could be like a T with 3 properties. Is that correct?
Well, I think Kieran was mentioning the T, but John was talking about a cul-de-sac. But the access at the end will be governed by the plan.
So there's a cul-de-sac right now. So I'm at the end of the cul-de-sac.
If you're driving into the cul-de-sac, you're to the left.
If you're going into the cul-de-sac, there are 2 driveways.
Yeah.
I'm the left driveway, and then there's a right driveway that goes up and around to Breitenbach's house. And the 3 lots are behind Breitenbach's house and to the right of my property.
Okay.
So Carla has assured me that they will not touch my property at all. And from Samir's attorney, Samir he's the house to the left of mine right where the cul-de-sac is. So part of his property is the cul-de-sac that he wants to keep. So they want to make it a little bit more narrow. I don't think it's even going to impact if someone wants to turn around. So if my property's not impacted and I have privacy, where I guess there could be some agreement where they can give me privacy, I don't know if I would have a problem with it, but my neighbors here have other concerns about their privacy because 2 of the houses are going to impact their immediate privacy where their pool is in the backyard. I also don't know, is anyone losing any property if they have to make it into a public road? Does it have to get wider? Carl said no.
No, the path was created by the subdivision at a width to accommodate that future.
So, but the
road.
width that's there of where the houses and people's driveways start, is that the actual width? Because Wilderness is kind of a narrow thing. We have to like pull off to the side to let another car go in the other direction right now. So I would assume that if the public road, it would have to be widened.
Look at Wood Trail, the improved part, it's a small fraction of what is actually that right of way. So it's not their property, just because it's not.
Oh, even though their driveway starts, it's not their property?
Well,
Like,
driveways
you guys
often
have
start
concerns
on,
about that?
driveways have to start on right of ways, because that's how they reach the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, so I guess the other concern would be if my property's not gonna be taken, I think that you guys should speak for yourselves as far as your concerns. My privacy, but then we have inconvenience of building the properties. Right now, we live literally in the wilderness, on Wilderness Trail. I have 2.6 acres. It's a lot of privacy. It's really quiet. How will that impact our life? And I think I don't know if it's going to impact us once the houses are built. But how many years are we going to be disrupted with heavy equipment and noise?
You know, in all honesty, we can't address that here
Okay.
at this time. I mean,
Okay.
that's a problem for anybody who has a
Okay.
neighbor who builds or makes
Yeah.
an improvement in their home, and it's throughout the whole town.
Yeah.
But we can't address that. We have
Okay.
to address what's before us, and right now, It's a
Okay.
little confusing exactly what's before us because we need to get some clarification.
Sure.
Right, but also, all that's before us is whether or not we allow this zero frontage for
That's
the
it.
purpose of the driveway.
Right.
We are not dealing anything with
Okay.
building, setbacks, pyramid
Yeah, yeah.
relief,
At
nothing.
this point,
That's
it may
the future.
come,
That's
it
the
may
plan
come at
future.
some
That's
point.
before the planning board. where
Yeah, that's
there's
all gonna be in
subdivision.
front of the
That's
planning
right,
board,
that's
and you'll have an
right.
opportunity to go to a public
Yeah,
hearing with
so
regard to the
You
subdivision.
guys
Lots are
should-
divided already, right?
Thanks.
Sorry?
Lots are divided.
Thank you, sir.
No,
Oh, they're not.
we had a pre-submission. They gave us this report. We knew one of the conditions would be this variance, but that was one of the conditions. Now we have to go back for final, and that it'll be a whole other thing with a whole other public hearing where they can discuss all those.
Did they give you preliminary? Or
Preliminary, yeah.
Okay, you got preliminary.
Yeah. we
Okay.
have.
Okay, would you like to be heard?
I would like to say.
Okay, are you an
So-
attorney?
No.
Then do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Saqib Khan, Saqueeb Khan, last name Saqueeb, B as in boy, last name Khan, Khan. I'm the owner. Sorry? I'm the owner of 121 Wilderness Trail, which is right behind Breitenbach's property. And my concern was what they already addressed, and I feel like right now we're talking about the road only. One of my main concern was we thought we live on a private street, and the privacy comes with, like, you know, the road being not a public road, and we have access for our kids to walk and do things like that. Once they build the road, bigger road, there's gonna be a lot more cars and stuff that's gonna take away, you know, some of those from us. Plus, you know, we live on a wilderness trail. There is so much greenery and stuff. There's so many animals that comes. A lot of people don't even have fence because of that. They want this, you know, deers and rabbits and turkeys to come. There's houses that's getting built. It's going to take away all of those greenery, plus the houses that's going to get built.
Okay, but we're not here to discuss that.
Right. So that's why. I mean,
So
I
this
just
is-
wanted to
yeah.
say that, you know, I'm one of the landowner, property owner on that street,
So you
and
have
I
an
have
interest in this.
exactly,
And,
yeah.
you know, the planning board's gonna get involved, I assume, at some point, and we'll have another hearing. But what we're addressing is only the easement and whether these lots have frontage.
Right. Yeah. So I guess.
So at this point, we're not talking about setbacks or
setbacks and stuff.
sizes or pyramid or
It's
anything.
just street access.
Just street access.
Street access
And we
to the
have a-
main
We have
road.
a ways to go to get that
I
clarified.
guess so. I'm just gonna wait
Okay,
until
yes,
then.
no, I appreciate it.
But I just wanted to make sure I
Okay.
let
got-
you guys know that I'm here and I want to speak about when this thing
Okay,
happens.
perfect. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And pay attention to the planning board.
15%, is it?
Very, very restricted, 15%.
Yeah, it's an aquifer area, so you
Most
can,
of those lots can be cleared to build
yeah.
on, it's 15%. That's it.
Right. The thing is, the where they're planning to build the houses, that's the highest point on that street, right? So once they build the house, everybody that lives around is gonna lose their privacy a lot because it will be the house will be directly looking
Right,
over
but
it.
These
that's
are pretty
again
big
a
lots,
planning department
and-
issue.
Yeah, and there's, you know, we're not here,
Right.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
All right.
All right, is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this? All right, this is mine, so what do you want to do
Well,
here,
can I
Carl?
just put something for the record?
Yeah,
Eric Bregman, who's a local attorney, did reach out to me. He represents the Dells, who own a lot to the north. He just wanted me to put on the record, we had discussed that we would like it, that we agreed to adjourn this, which is going to happen anyway, and that we are in discussions about what can happen to get them, you know, to either withdraw opposition or obtain support. But he just asked that I put that on the record.
okay, we got it on the record. Okay, so let's talk about timing here. Any input from planning?
How
What do you
long
think?
is?
This issue began in 1980.
I'm sorry.
So what's a little-
Exactly. What's
I
another
did. I
decade?
asked if anybody on Zoom, yeah. Did Kevin say anybody was on Zoom?
I didn't hear him, that's why I didn't know.
Kevin, no
No
one,
one.
no one's on Zoom. I
Anthony, did
asked.
you want a long form EAF?
If it's unlisted, probably.
Yeah, just do it.
I'll just do the long form.
You know.
You want to put it on for a future date, and if you need more time, you just adjourn.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
So
that
how
should be
you
done.
want to go into October?
Well, no, we have to put it on.
They have to do secret.
Carl has to give a long form EAF to Anthony so that we
Right.
can coordinate secra.
And we have to do a
We have to
secret.
give 30 days for secra, so I would put it on for, assuming Carl can get that in somewhat soon. We can do lead agency for September 5th, because that would give us
Okay.
more than 30 days.
Is it September 15th?
Yeah, so I would do just for the lead agency, September 5th, and then I think we could take, and then in that time, we'll also get a planning board report, because they'll be talking about
We'll do the
secret,
secret, yeah.
plus we'll be referring it to the planning board, and then we could put it back on for testimony on, I would say, either the September 19th or the first meeting in October.
What's your
19th
feeling?
is fine.
Is it the 19th or, yeah, it's the 19th. All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn this application for lead agency resolution on September 5th with a rehearing on September 19th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Rubin.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. All right, chair votes aye. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Number 6 on the agenda, Roger and Jennifer Morales, 308 Sagaponack Road, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-89-1-5. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. Again? For one, to legalize a spa constructed without the benefit of a building permit or a non-conforming lot, Section 330-11 Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory side yard setback of 7 feet where 30 feet is required. 2, to legalize an outdoor shower constructed without the benefit of a building permit, Section 330-11, for an accessory side yard setback of 3.7 feet where 30 feet is required. And 3, to legalize an addition to the main dwelling on a lot with 2 dwellings, Section 330-116 extension as it relates to Section 330-167B1A, specific types of variances, to allow an increase in floor area, habitable living space of 16% out of the allowable 50%, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Would you like
Good
to
evening.
introduce yourself?
Me again, Carl Benacasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill for the
Okay, Carl,
applicant.
tell us about this application.
Okay, so first let's talk about the principal structure. It had an addition done in the 60s. That was 5 feet within setbacks. It has existed for 50 years in that position. It was granted a CO in that position.
Where are we now? What are you showing us?
Sure,
So where was the addition?
right here. I'll draw a line on my survey.
Okay.
This is the addition.
Oh, this was the addition.
Yep, it's right there on the, you should have that survey too.
I have the survey.
It was built back in the 60s within setbacks and just went unnoticed for decades. So much that in 2019, the building department gave a CO for the house with that addition right there. So we were in the process of legalizing the spa and shower, which I'll get to in a moment. And the building department brought to our attention that fact, that this was built into setbacks, despite the fact that it had been existing for 50 years. And this fact that it had been CO'd by the town. So as part of our application, we are here to right that wrong and get that minimal relief so that that structure, again, which has existed for decades and which has benefited from multiple certificates of occupancy, can be legalized. It's supposed to be 30 feet from the eastern setback where, I'm sorry, and it's only 25, so it's just a 5-foot variance.
All right, where is that shown on the survey? Is that the 25 down here, the 2-story residence?
Yeah, that's right.
It's at 25.5?
Variance of 5 feet to permit a 331 square as-built 1-story addition to the principal dwelling and a 25-foot setback where 30 is required, and that's correct.
So that's the one I'm looking at? I just want to make sure we get this. If you want to correct it, so let's make sure we got it. Is this the line you're talking about?
This 25-foot line here,
Okay, okay.
and you can see it's the same. But I will indicate, I'll have it indicated on, revised on a survey. to
Yes,
indicate
because
it.
it's not where the addition is.
Yeah, I see that, but
Right.
it's fine.
So what was that revision on the survey?
We're gonna put the setback of the most, of the nearest corner of the addition. Because it just did it did an equidistant portion of the home, but it should have done it on the addition, so we'll
Right.
make sure it's on the addition.
Right.
Yep,
We didn't advertise it for the setbacks for the addition.
No, it wasn't advertised for that.
you just had it for the,
the expansion of a non-conforming use. So I'm assuming, or are they just carrying the non-conforming setback?
That was brought to us by the town when we submitted this. So
The non-conforming setback?
for the, for,
Yes, for the addition.
for the addition or for the use? What are you talking
No, no, for the addition, the setback.
I'm talking about both.
I don't know. I have to look.
I don't know what you're asking.
Paul, can I see what you're talking about?
We did not advertise this for any setbacks for the addition. We only advertised it for the expansion of the non-conforming use.
Yes.
So my question is, are they making the setbacks more non-conforming, or are they just
No.
continuing?
Oh, they're continuing the setbacks.
That's why they didn't advertise it for the
Yes,
setback.
the next problem with the accessory structure is it was an expansion of a nonconformity because this has a dwelling. So essentially, there's a pre-existing nonconformity.
This is the recent,
Cottage.
is the addition you just described.
So when they added that,
Uh-huh.
not only did they build a little bit into setbacks, and again, they got COs for this, they expanded a dwelling on a home that had two dwellings. And that's an expansion of a nonconformity.
I had the hardest time understanding how one dwelling has two dwellings, but
Premises has two
Is that
dwellings.
this cottage is just north of the garage?
See that cottage just north
Yeah.
of the garage?
Yes, it's a tiny
That's
little.
a legal accessory dwelling unit. And as a result, it's a non-conforming use, as Katie was talking about. So, when you have two dwellings, that's a non-conforming use. Any expansion to either
Right.
is an expansion of a non-conformity. And that's the other reason we had to come to get relief for the as-built structure. Sorry, John, I was talking to Katie.
No. It's I looked over your shoulder.
Okay.
so let me just be sure I understand.
Snuck in.
Because there's a principal dwelling that has 2 stories.
Uh-huh.
There's a cottage that you just described. I'm sorry, not a cottage. There was an addition put on,
Right up here. Yep.
right abutting it in front of where it says brick,
Mhm.
right? And that now needs to be either resolved one way or the other as to what it is. And that is where there's an additional.
So when they added this addition, they expanded a dwelling unit.
Right.
As you have another dwelling unit, an expansion to either
Right.
is an expansion of a nonconformity.
And the thing called the cottage at present
Is a
is
dwelling.
another dwelling unit.
That's exactly right.
Already CO.
Okay.
Already CO'd, pre-existing nonconforming dwelling unit.
Already a CO on
Yes.
Are there any prior COs other than the 2019
Sure.
CO?
Yeah.
There, do we have, did you submit them?
We submitted the most recent. We can, if you want the previous, we can do that. Let me see if I have them.
The most recent being 2019.
I have 2019 here.
We don't have it in the packet, so.
You don't have the 2019?
No, we have the
2019.
2019. We don't have any others.
before that.
Okay. So you want the older ones? Sure.
Yeah, because you said it was done in the 60s. What, Ken?
No, I'm saying you need all the seals on the front.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified to say this, but keep going. So the stuff, we have that. And now we're here to talk about a shower, a spa, and a proposed slate patio that's new to be built.
Yes. Well, the shower and the spa, they're existing as well.
The
We're
patio
gonna
you need,
legalize that.
right?
Sorry?
The patio, you don't.
No, not the patio.
The barbecue.
So the shower and the spa built, and the proposed patio is actually proposed, or that's built too?
The
That's
patio is
proposed.
proposed.
But that's
Okay.
probably.
But that's not
needs-
part of your-
that's not
Okay,
part of
now
the
I
variance
understand that.
request.
You forgive me if I'm having trouble following this.
How can I make it clear?
No.
right, so-
I'm getting it. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah,
Okay. No, I know. There's a lot going on.
right,
So
we need
there's
to
the
legalize
spa, the outdoor
spa
shower.
and the outdoor shower.
That's right.
And we need to recognize and legalize the addition
And legalize
to
the
the main
addition to the
dwelling
main dwelling.
on a lot with 2 dwellings.
Right.
And we
And then-
need to, in order to understand that, we need copies of all
You
the
want the
previous.
pre-existing COs? Sure.
Pre-existing
We'll
COs,
have
the
it.
previous
And I'm
COs.
realizing why I said the barbecue. There was a note. Applicant shall contact the building department to address the violations of the outdoor barbecue and the removal of a large storage building as indicated on the property flag in the town GIS system. Have you
That's
dealt
the-
with those
that's the-
issues?
Those are the Marge O'Reilly's
Yeah,
comments.
we just got this.
Okay.
They just handed
Oh,
this to
okay.
me.
He didn't see it.
And
Okay.
you don't already have it resolved?
Sorry, guys.
On the way home.
but we'll do whatever she said.
Come on.
Okay, okay, so.
You want
there's,
to put on the
uh,
record what it was again?
Yeah,
So on
it's,
the record.
it's the.
Oh, yeah, I just read it. The applicant shall contact the building department to address the violations of the outdoor barbecue and the removal of the large storage building as indicated on the property flag in the town GIS system.
Okay. So we can remove those.
All right, I don't see it on the survey, but yeah, okay.
I just see the barbecue on the survey. I don't know where the large.
I see the
The
barbecue
large
next
shed.
to the proposed slate patio.
Yeah, I
don't
know,
see a
the
shed.
BBQ, I don't either, but they must have seen it on the GIS.
Maybe they put it, yeah, they,
Maybe it's gone.
No, maybe it's still there and it was never put on the survey.
maybe it was
Possibly.
done after the survey, you know.
Correct. Okay, so we need to
Okay.
rectify that as
Sure.
well.
We'll make sure that's rectified.
Okay.
So we're gonna get an updated survey. that
No.
clarifies the- No?
We're just gonna remove the shed, if there's a shed, but you.
No,
can-
you're gonna add the setback for the addition.
Yeah, we are doing that.
You're gonna revise the survey,
Revise.
it, and you're gonna put a shed on it that says to be
Revise,
removed.
update.
And
Okay.
you're gonna say to be removed for the barbecue, unless you go ahead with permits
Barbecue's
or
built
whatever.
in, actually.
To be removed.
Right.
Did Marge indicate where the shed is, if it's on the
She
survey?
didn't.
No, all she said was, as
It's on
indicated on the property
property
flag in the town GIS system. And I'm looking. I do not see a shed.
I don't see a shed either.
Is there anything in the town system?
It just says legalize, legalize, I think OD must be outdoor barbecue, and the removal of the old shed.
What's the date of that note?
7/27, July of 2023.
It's the mystery of the old shed.
Well, her comments on the building form is from June
She's the one
27th.
who put the flag in the computer too in
Oh,
2023.
right.
Well, I'll talk to Marge, I'll see
Yeah,
where the shed is.
figure out what that is.
It might,
okay.
it might have already been removed, maybe she was just going off that, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, perfect.
So, now, we have the accessory addition, the addition which requires relief, A, because an expansion of a nonconformity, and B, because it's 5 feet within setbacks. As you can see, the cottage and the garage are pre-existing nonconforming structures that exist roughly 5 to 7 feet from the side yard. We are asking for the addition of for approval for a spa, which is 7 feet from the side yard setback when 30 is required. So that's a variance of 21 feet, and a variance of 26.3 feet to permit a 60 square foot as-built outdoor shower. It's 12 by 5, to an eastern side yard setback of 3.7 feet where 30 feet is required. As you can see, the structures are in line with the cottage and the garage, as I mentioned, which are pre-existing nonconformities. And though there's not many variances in the neighborhood, there are a lot of examples of these homes being developed prior to zoning and in very close proximity to the side yard. At 320 Sagaponack Road, which is the direct neighbor to the east, there is a pool house structure that is roughly 7 feet from the side yard. Again, the minimum setback would be 30 feet.
So those, there are a few instances of that, and there's instances where there's no encroachments of the same type that are being proposed here. What would it take to consider moving some of the structures you're describing, which are not easy to see from the road?
They're not easy to see from the road. They exist. So
I understand.
Yeah. So it's not just a matter of proposed moving them. I think it would be a rather large undertaking to do that. And considering, again, great deference should be paid to the fact that this cottage and this garage exists in that location as it is.
Mhm.
And that,
And it's CO.
and they're CO, yes. So there's an argument to be made that perhaps there is a grandfathered setback related to that cottage and garage. Now, your attorney will tell you, just because one structure has that setback doesn't mean all structures may, but certainly it's worth considering that is within the character of the neighborhood, that this lot has developed with that sort of setback. And as I mentioned, the neighbor next door has the same, has a very similar condition.
And when were
Question.
they built? I'm sorry, go ahead.
The spa, around the spa, is there decking around the spa?
Around the, yeah, there is, it's not decking, I think it's just a gravel patio.
Generally, we ask in these situations for an estimate of the cost
Sure, we can get
to
that.
remove, and also just where else could you put these, and where would you consider putting these? So we'd like to know if you've considered other options and what the cost would be for removal.
Well, look, let's just say this plain English, right? If this wasn't already built and you came in with something like this, why can't you just move it around? So, that's just a plain reality of the moment we're in. And if to the chair's point, we need some evidence that says, no, this is so compelling in its
We have
location.
no other options. We have no other options, and it's very compelling. That's what we would have to.
But I mean, the irony of the moment is this lot is plenty big to put plenty more
Yeah.
in plenty of locations. We just keep only seeing stuff after they happen in this instance.
It's beautifully landscaped. I mean, it's definitely beautifully landscaped. But we always ask the question, and before we make a decision, I would like to know what the answer is.
So you're looking for cost estimates?
You look for cost estimates to remove the shower and the
And
spa.
also-
To remove or relocate?
And relocate.
The shower and spa?
Spa, shower and spa. Yeah.
Or just eliminate, or whatever,
No, either remove them or or move them, relocate them.
Because as you said, our attorney would say that just because the cottage is, it
Yeah,
doesn't
of
mean that we
course.
necessarily go along with everything else being built in that same line.
And by extension, the logic goes all the way to the north part of the property. We just keep granting sheds and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things all the way there. When does it end?
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Well, each application, you consider the merits, and certainly if they were taking advantage of this down the line, obviously we would expect you to draw the line. Also, again, these are existing, so what we're talking about would be proposed structures coming in future.
But these are as-built.
These are as-built.
Without-
How long
Without
ago were they done?
And you
Were
can't
these-
see them.
these structures.
You cannot see them.
No, you can't. It's well vegetated, that I'll give you. But
When were they done exactly? Well,
Well,
they didn't have
roughly.
permits, so it's hard to say, but it was
Yeah.
after 2019
Okay.
and before my clients purchased in 2022.
okay, so
Yeah.
relatively recently.
Relatively recent,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So you know what.
But by the previous owners,
Right, and you know what we're asking for.
yes.
Been here before.
Carl, do you need
Um,
wetlands permits for these or no?
No, they're outside we approached Marty because there is that flagging on the next lot. These are outside of his jurisdiction, he said.
And there was no money.
We actually have a decision, I'll get it to you from Marty.
Okay.
Okay, that's still had to be referral.
There's nothing in escrow to resolve any of these potential issues when the purchase happens.
No, a lot of things come up, as you know, with a purchase. This was purchased subject to an updated CO. These problems arose when we got the survey and everything looked into it, and we ended up resolving it with a credit because, as you know, it's hard to just turn away from a home. You've made a lot of
Yeah,
preparation,
no,
so
it's
sometimes
it's a
you
lovely
take
home.
it on
Yes,
and
I
try to
understand
do your
that.
best to legalize it.
Yeah,
and that's
but
what
you
they're
do it with
doing.
the credit.
What?
You do it with the credit.
You do it with a credit.
Okay,
But
now we'd
they
like
didn't have
know.
to come in to legalize it. None of
Yeah.
these things, and here they are.
I know. Well, and they're right
What?
to do it
No one would have known.
No one would have known.
until they go to sell, or they want to add something else
Yeah,
to the
but this
house.
is
Yeah,
they're
so
going to own
look,
this for a
it's-
while.
Yeah, okay.
I can tell you they are doing this. They have no plans.
Yeah.
They are doing this to
I think they're,
legalize it.
and I think they're right to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think they're right to do it, and we respect that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter, you can come up or go to the podium.
My name's Douglas Baxter. I'm the owner of 320.
Okay, can I swear you in?
Oh,
Are you an attorney?
no.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I
Can you tell me
please,
his last name again?
please.
Baxter, Baxter, yeah. So as he said, I have a non-conforming second structure. A barn that I think is the third barn on the property. My house was built in 1730.
1730?
Yeah.
No
I,
COs required then.
I have C of O's.
Do you know who the builder was?
Well, it was actually the first parsonage.
Oh, really?
of the church in Bridgehampton. I didn't tear it down, unlike several other 18th and even 17th century houses in Bridgehampton recently. So I do have this non-conforming building. I have a spa. I have a shower. They're done to the legal setbacks. So I don't understand why, if I can do that on 8/10 of an acre, why my neighbor can't on, I think, what, twice as much land? I don't know. I can't remember the acreage.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, the lot size.
The lot size is 1 acre, roughly 1 acre.
Okay, so 20% larger.
Yeah.
Um,
So, sir, you support this application?
No.
no.
Is
No.
that-
You said you-
I don't have a problem with
He
the.
could-
These structures exist.
Wait, let him, you don't have a problem?
I know they
Sir.
exist. They exist since 2020.
Sir, wait,
I'm not,
sir. You don't
So-
have a problem with what?
I don't have a problem with the addition.
Okay.
I'm not happy having a hot tub on the property line, nor am I happy having a pool heater on the property line.
Why are you not happy about having a hot tub on the property line? Just how does it affect you?
Noise. When people are in it, they talk.
Do you know how far your house is from, or any other outdoor feature like a pool or a patio is from
So-
that property line?
My secondary structure, first of all, my lot is very long and narrow. So
And you're to the east, just to clarify?
I'm to the east. yeah.
Right, okay.
So the lot total must be 60 feet across, and the entertainment part of the secondary structure, which is all built to code, is behind the barn.
do you want to pass that to John?
And so, I don't know, 30 feet from the hot tub?
Can I ask you, you mentioned pool equipment. I don't see pool equipment on the survey.
It's there. There's something
It's-
there.
It's way up top.
Yeah, it's a round,
Oh,
what looks
oh,
like a round,
yeah.
looks
Oh,
like
here
a
it is.
cesspool probably.
But the pool is.
Are you at 320?
But the
That's
pool
right.
is on the
That's
seal.
right.
Okay.
So it looks
But-
like,
The
it's,
pool is on the CO.
Yeah, but
Is the
we're-
pool equipment on the CO? But, and there's no setback, on the survey for pool
Yeah,
equipment.
the pool is said to be the first pool in Bridgehampton
Okay.
on
Okay.
the property.
The pool itself is not the issue.
Okay.
well,
That's what I've been.
and sir, if I may, looking at a satellite, it looks like the I guess the northernmost edge of your actual home is about at the point where the driveway opens up. So it looks like the hot tub is much further in the
So look at
wooded
the-
section
look
of
at the
your
sec-
property.
I use also the second
What?
building.
There's a second.
So look at the second building, and there's a deck and a brick patio behind that.
Well, if I may, we are definitely questioning the setbacks on the spa and the shower. And I would hope that we would get a setback on the pool equipment as well on the survey. It's not noted. And we're gonna get some
The
information.
spa and the shower have the setbacks.
I'm talking about pool equipment. It doesn't have it on the pool.
The spa and the shower have setbacks,
They have a small setback noted on the survey, if I am correct.
but
Is the spa a hot
the
tub
code
on
would be
concrete
30
slab?
feet,
Or
right?
Is the spa a
I
hot
think it's on
tub?
gravel. It's on
Or
gravel.
something,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute,
We
but
understand what
are
your
we looking
concerns
for
are.
setbacks?
It's close to your property line, and that's your
And-
concern.
And when
Are there any
I,
other
Yeah,
issues?
that's.
well, when I built my spa and my outdoor shower, I built it to code, even though the structure that they're attached to is pre-existing non-conforming.
Understood.
I managed to do it to code, even though the building they're adjacent to is non-conforming.
You would like us to do what?
I'm not happy with a hot tub on the property line.
And therefore,
Not approve it.
you want us to make it conform to the code? Is that your recommendation?
Yes, or at least get it off the property line.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 308 Sagaponack Road?
No one on Zoom.
Okay,
I would
Kevin?
just-
Oh,
can I
yes,
just-
go ahead.
One moment, please.
Carl.
You talking. Yeah.
Okay, so a few things. We realized, Candace and I at the same time, that the shed back in 2019 was on the premises and has since been removed, and that's why it's not
Okay.
on this survey.
Okay, good. All right, so, good, so we
shed's
don't have to
gone.
worry about that. Okay.
One,
But the barbecue is still there.
I noticed it on the 2019 survey. The barbecue is still there, so we would have to remove that or deal with it.
Right.
And the closer you get, if really any movement of these structures in towards the middle of the lot, and I don't know why I didn't bring this up earlier, but would put you within wetland setbacks. So that's another consideration.
Is that noted on the survey where the
They are.
wetlands?
It is noted on the survey. If you
Okay.
see that 190 line, at 200 feet, you're within wetland setbacks. So that is a balancing interest for the location of these structures.
So you could ask somebody to show us a couple of locations that, if the spa were on the other side of the shower,
What is the
adjacent to
wetland
the
setback?
cottage, you would be in,
200 feet.
I don't
This
think
stuff's
that's that
190.
much
Spa on the other
different.
side of the garage, I mean,
Right.
there are, anyhow.
Now, I'd like to address something with the pool equipment. It looks to me, Carl, the pool equipment is right here.
Yes.
It looks to be about 10 feet from the property line, which would be a proper setback, but if you could have that added to the survey.
Do you have a
This,
scale?
is
tool?
that
Yes,
circle?
we just talked about it.
So, I will have it added to the survey.
But
Yes,
that,
please.
are you talking about the circle?
No, the pool equipment, see where it says pool EQ, where
Yeah.
it says fence, that looks to be the pool equipment.
okay,
I'd like to
okay.
confirm that
But
that's what
that's-
it
The
is.
circle's a
Is the
dry
drywall?
The circle's a
All right,
drywall.
but that's what we were talking about before, to put it on the survey.
Yeah,
That's
just
what
put on the survey, but it looks like it, Candace checked it, and it looks like it's
It could
with the
be
correct setback.
conforming, which is
It
nice.
looks like it conforms. If it's 10 feet from the property line, well, have you measured, sir?
The
All right.
survey
No,
shows it.
honestly, if the survey shows it, we'll just get the setback and we'll have it.
I've looked at it.
But-
I haven't measured.
You're not a surveyor, sir. We'll have somebody measure it. Thank you.
It'll be, I know the difference between a foot
We
and
can't hear
10.
you, we can't hear you.
Wait,
John.
wait.
All right, okay.
Well, at this,
All right.
we don't need to have
What
this
were you saying?
conversation.
Sorry.
What I was, what a night. So if that's a dispute, could you just get that verified that it is, and consider if it's properly placed and it meets the setback, what other sound baffling ideas you could contemplate with your client?
Some sort of buffer.
For the if it's actually properly meets the setback, what sort of sound buffering could be imagined by your client for the pool equipment?
For a lawfully existing within compliant.
Well, it's.
I just want to.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, I'm.
I would talk to counsel. I would talk to
It's
counsel.
an if
Yeah.
it's properly set.
And you're talking about pool equipment right now, right?
Yes, right, pool equipment. So, because that does make noise. So let's make sure that we get it properly noted on the survey. And
Sure.
if the surveyor certifies that it's 10 feet, we have to accept what the surveyor says. And we are assuming that he's honorable and professional and that he'll reflect it accurately.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, you mentioned, with respect to, just kind of mentioned the screening for noise mitigation. The town code section 377G, where it talks about the 10-foot setback, it requires the applicant to comply with the noise mitigation section of the town code. So he has to put that noise mitigation in.
You're talking about for the pool?
The pool equipment.
The pool equipment.
Pool
It
equipment.
says section 235-1, that's the noise mitigation.
And if it's old pool equipment, it could be noisy, and if it's relatively new pool equipment, it will be a lot quieter.
And you were talking about for the spa and shower as well, or just for the pool?
No, this was for the pool equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would
But-
think that to
But we're
the
still
extent
looking
that
at the spa and the shower and the setback. Yeah.
Okay, I think that to the extent that this board would approve the variances you're seeking today, we would probably condition that relief on some screening and noise mitigation with regard to a hot tub 7 feet from the
Yeah.
property line.
Among the other mix
Among
of
other things.
considerations you would
Exactly.
come back to us with.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Rob, may I just ask one
course.
for a little clarification? Where is the wetland setback denoted on the?
Sure,
It's
it's
not
these
denoted.
lines here.
Got it,
See, it says
got it, got it.
190 and
And
162.
is that identified as wetland setback?
Yeah,
It
it
says
is.
190. What does that mean?
It goes to the
100
wetlands line.
90 feet to the wetlands line.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it. Okay,
And,
here's the
and,
wetlands
and,
line.
and while the setback issue, might be real, there's a giant lawn in between Sag Pond and the shower and the spa. So,
Yeah.
we,
Right.
we appreciate you're going to go through the exercise we asked you to go through.
I'm sorry, you were saying
Relocations.
relocation.
Yeah.
It's not
Well, if-
all north of the wetlands, into the wetlands. So.
What I'm saying plainly is the notion that we have competing impact concerns is not quite so dramatic when you look at the aerial and you see it's a giant lawn all the way to the wetlands setback.
Yeah,
so,
no,
so we're swapping
I
out.
agree with you, but Marty Shea takes a different point of
Well,
view.
okay, but
We're having a conversation.
yeah, I get that,
Yeah,
and
okay.
you understand what we're asking.
Yes, I do.
So
Okay.
we appreciate that, and that
Is
the
there
client's
anybody
consideration.
else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 308 Sagaponack Road? Okay, Kevin, this is yours.
So we need to have some time for you to come back with some of this. How much time do you need? What do you think?
Not much. I think we can do it pretty quickly. You just want the setbacks of the pool filter and the setbacks of that
Prices.
accessory.
Costs?
And the cost estimate,
Any
yeah.
possible relocations? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to come back in the middle of August?
Sure.
Okay,
So
so,
it's August 15th.
yeah.
August 15th.
15th.
We're deferring on a decision.
Is that
until-
okay, Candace? with you?
We're not scheduling a decision until we see.
No,
what
no, no,
the
you're
price
holding it
is.
open to August
So
15th.
adjourn till August 15th.
We'll go
Okay.
later than that.
Yeah.
All right, you don't want to be here for 7-Eleven. All right.
I'm not for sure if they're coming, so I can't say
How
yes
about-
or no, I don't know.
How about September 5th then?
September 5th's
Okay,
fine.
Kevin, you want
So
to
the
make a
motion is to adjourn until August 15th.
No,
Now
September
they
5th.
changed
I'm
to
sorry.
September
I'm
5th.
sorry. To September 5th.
Fair.
Okay. Mr. McDonald,
I'm sorry?
Mr. McDonald, you can vote on this now.
You made
Okay.
your motion.
Oh, no, I'm
Seconded.
sorry. I didn't- Apologies. Who seconded?
I did.
Mr.
Thank you,
Bustoni.
All in favor?
No, I
No,
go through.
you have to-
I go through.
Oh,
Just vote. Aye.
Mr. McDonald,
I go aye. Understood.
okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Macedonia. Ms. Kane. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
See, that's about as bad as it gets.
Miss Burgess. Chair votes aye. All right, thank you. No, I think he's dead. Okay, thank you, Carl.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm done. That it?
Okay. All right.
Okay,
You
number
always get the interesting ones.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah.
Number 7 on the agenda, Margaret Zack and Robert Zack, 24 Old Fort Lane, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-211-4-54. On April 21, 2016, this board by decision number D016043 granted a total pyramid encroachment of 5,292.17 cubic feet as follows for a proposed two-story residence with proposed covered deck. 1,505.4 on the east side, 3,718.59 on the west side, and 68.18 on the west balcony. On February 28, 2023, this board received a letter from Justin Zach requesting that said decision be modified to allow the proposed dwelling to be raised. By memo dated May 8, 2024, Arthur Gerhauser, Principal Building Inspector, states that the new pyramid encroachment would be as follows: a total of 6,194.58 cubic feet, 1,962.3 on the east side, 4,154.44 on the west side, and 74.84 for the balcony on the west side.
The board has jurisdiction. That's it.
Okay, so let me swear in whoever is not an attorney.
Not an attorney.
Okay. Mrs. Gotu? Okay, let me, all right. Let's swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Okay, so can you please each individually state your name and address for the record?
Robert K. Zach, Z-A-C-K.
Okay,
Justin Robert Zach,
okay,
2404 Lane.
okay. Okay, good. All right, so tell us about the request.
Okay, this is what happened. Well, going back to 2014, 2016, I moved with all of you guys, and unfortunately only Katie and Miss Burgess are the only remaining members who would have remembered this long and arduous discussion we had and came to an agreement and got peer relief that was given me for 5,000 square cubic feet. First starting off, I want to give this little handout so you can kind of follow along because it's fairly complicated.
You have to hand it up to the town attorney.
So you only have 4?
Yeah, 4 of those. So you can spread them out just to kind of follow along because it's very complicated.
There's 4 of these, so just spread those in, and then I'm gonna pass the orange one to Bob for the file.
Okay.
I'm gonna stamp the one in the orange for Bob, so you guys can just all share that.
You two share, and Bob and I share.
Yeah, it'll go in chronological order, so we can just follow it along.
Well, you're getting the original. Okay.
So when I met last, I designed this house with my architect, my parents, to fit within. The property lies, it's a water property, and it lies in zone X. There's a swath of land that comes across, and if you look at this diagram here, it shows the swath of land that comes across as zone X. So that's a 500-year flood. Because with the rising tides and everything, this is definitely a very big issue. Again, you can see on this survey, that's the swath of zone X comes across my property, my parents' property. And when we designed the house, we designed to all fall within zone X so that it would be within the 500-year flood zone. We went through the pyramid relief, and I didn't realize that over the last 20, 30 years, I've been in a position here since 2001. And my grandparents bought this property in 1957. They own multiple properties around the area, so we've been in the area for a long time. I've noticed over my lifetime the rising tides, and over the last 10 years, the mean flood tides have gotten higher at the property and around, even with the storm surge. I have pictures in this packet that show the storm surge in the back of my property. So after we went through the whole process, I'm revisiting building this house now in 2024, and I realized that the base floor elevation needs to be raised. So I'm back here to raise the base floor elevation to FEMA standards. So even though I'm in zone X, I'm voluntarily wanting to redo this to make the first floor with fall within FEMA regulations. So that in the future it doesn't flood. So that's why I'm coming back and going back into the whole process. You can see on this, there's a FEMA map, and the little swath of land you can see that crosses across my property there shows you that it's a zone X. So I am the lucky one in the area that has a property that's zone X. All the other waterfront houses you can see in this diagram are all AE. So they're all treated as AE when they calculate the pyramid. My pyramid calculation was calculated with zone X in mind, and that gives me less pyramid relief than the other houses that comply with the FEMA standards. It's a very complicated thing. I did write, there's a 3-page letter that was included that really describes everything in detail, because I'm probably going to miss some of the points. I don't know if you all had a chance to read this letter.
I think we
Okay,
did.
yeah,
It's
okay,
in
great.
our packet, yeah.
So very complex, but basically comes down to I want to raise the house. I want to do that. of my own volition to get the house to FEMA standards.
Katie, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Have we done this in the past?
Has the board
Has the
done
board
this in the past?
granted variances like this in the past where we're allowing pyramid relief for zones that you're not in?
So in other words, I know what he's saying because it's a
He's,
question I
the,
had.
the property's in an X zone. He wants to raise it as if it's in an AE zone. Has the board ever done anything like that in the past,
I mean,
to your knowledge?
listen, people ask for it all the time. You know, I think the
Have
question.
we ever granted it?
Sure.
Okay.
But I think what the question is you know, what's the, you know, is it the exact same house that was
Exactly
designed
the same.
before? Sorry, so it's exactly the same as the house as before.
You're just going to lift it.
And it's
Just going to
well,
lift
it
it
hasn't
1
been
foot
built yet,
3
so.
inches. Yeah.
So
the new house
to
will be 1 foot
achieve
3
FEMA
inches higher.
compliance is an addition of what, 1,000 cubic,
900 and something.
900 cubic feet of pyramid
Correct.
relief.
But if you look at, there's another paper in here. If you look at the calculation, they calculate via AE. I actually need 1,000 less. So on this big elevation A5, there's 2 different calculations. If you look at the lower box, I don't know if you guys have it. The lower box shows that I would actually need 4,033 cubic feet, which is less than was given to me 10 years ago. I was given 5,000.
5292.
Yeah, that. So it actually, if it was calculated as an AE, and if I move the house an inch into AE, it gets calculated AE.
It's probably AE. You only need
Right, but
47.
it's not going to be calculated as AE because you're in X.
Okay.
So you're
But my whole point is, if I do move it a bit, I could get it calculated. That way. But
and
I
so
wanted to
now
build
it's an
it in
elevation
zone
of
X.
what? You're treating it as if it's an AE what?
It's 11.
AE 11?
Its base flood is 9. So it's not, at 8, it's 9. But plus the 2 feet,
Okay.
freeboard is 11.
But as it was granted in the past, it was at what?
It was at 8 something.
Zone X.
It was zone X,
It was
but the
zone X.
elevation
What
was
was the
8.
elevation though? The way it was granted.
The elevation was 8.
Yeah, it was, I don't have the exact numbers, 8 point, no, the surveyor recalculated, so it was, at the time was also Mark, the different inspector, he told me to measure one side from 8 point something, the other side is another 8 point something. And then the new surveyor, and then the new inspector told us just do the average. So now the average is 8.83. But in the past, it's a little bit different. It's 8 point something, one
Previously.
side. Yeah, 8 point something,
I mean,
and
but,
the other
but
side.
so that, I mean, so that's so basically what she's suggesting is that if they did design it at a FEMA elevation of 8.83 previously, and now they want to raise it to AE 11.
89. And
Alright.
then with the freeboard, it's like 11.
Okay. So I mean,
So-
it's up to you. I mean,
So
it's-
how much
You have the same-
additional,
you have the same plan, Mr. Zach?
it's going to go from
Raising it
8.8
1
to
foot.
what?
Same plan, raising it 1 foot and 3 inches.
I have no problem.
That's it.
Well,
And just-
here's what my concern is. You know, you're contiguous to AE zones. We always get people who come in and say, precedent. You granted, you know, enormous pyramid relief for these people who are not in the AE zone. I want the same thing. I'm in X, I'm in whatever. And I have a little difficulty in terms of the whole precedent setting that we're doing. It's kind of relevant to what your question was, have we done this in the
Have
past?
we done this in the past?
I
And I'd
mean,
like
you
to
know, if
see
we
some of
con-
those
if we-
decisions.
I understand you're right next to it, maybe that makes it more of an exception, but I don't want somebody coming 2 blocks away who's in X and saying to me, well, you granted this person in X, you know, a pyramid relief of 6,000 blah blah cubic feet.
Every property on the
I
road is treated as
understand,
AE.
but-
I'm the only one who's getting punished because I
Yeah,
have this
I
zone
know.
X coming
Well,
across my property.
As you said, it's good luck and bad luck.
Part of the
Um,
property is in AE. So you said
Yeah,
you-
yeah.
But not where he's moving.
Not where the house
Not
is.
where the house is.
Right.
I mean, you know, and that's a plus for
So,
you,
and then,
but
you know, just looking at the pictures, so this is my house, you can see with the arrow, that's the small cottage that I'm in currently. And all the houses in the neighborhood are these monstrous houses, all have pyramid relief. This is my next door neighbor's
I know, because he's
monstrous
a,
house.
because he's got he's
Well,
an
I
A.
mean,
Yes,
I
no, I
could
understand.
have AE if I have Lucy move the.
Well, I was just gonna say, that
Unfortunately.
he did all this work to keep it in that particular zone. And the architect had said, if you go outside that zone, you're in the AE zone. So if you go into the AE zone, don't you come into the FEMA owned business, and then pyramid relief is out of the picture? Because you got 8 foot.
Well, the pyramid
It's-
relief changes.
It changes.
It
Well,
changes.
we
It doesn't
consider it
disappear.
differently,
My,
yes.
my contention has always been, being the size of these waterfront properties that were divided years and years ago.
Yeah, they're
The pyramid relief, I understand the point of it. And in town, where there's some, this property at the water is 50 foot. Has always been a major problem. All the neighbors have had to get pyramid relief. And it's just that right now, the way I look at this, for him keeping in that zone, to go up a little, like this gentleman said that he has no problem with, to go out into the AE and redo a whole plan, the whole house to get into the AE and go along. Then we go into using FEMA's 8 foot from ground level, and the house becomes 3 stories high. And I think you would have to grant relief for that.
Can I
That's
also
my,
ask
as a father.
Can
That's
I
what
ask you, no, I appreciate your comments. The existing house seems to be right up against the property lines, very close to the property lines, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you're building on that location, is that correct? What are the
well,
setbacks?
we have- No, the plan has been changed and,
They
and
changed the
the
side.
offsets are
Those houses are all
they're
2 foot
new.
off the lines.
And then we often ask about ceiling heights. Do we have ceiling heights for this structure?
Yeah, we do.
And what are they?
We have 9 foot first floor and 8 foot for the second floor.
Okay, because, when we're being asked for pyramid relief, we often like to, have you come down on ceiling heights. Perhaps making the 9 foot ceiling height 8 feet.
I just
Or
want to
you
build a
need
house.
that for the,
I just want to build a
for
house that's
FEMA
similar
requirement.
to all the people in the neighborhood. These are the houses in the neighborhood.
I know.
They're huge. The house right next to me is huge. It's the same. My house is virtually the same dimensions, same character as the houses next to me. All I want to do is the same thing my neighbors have done.
So I have something to say is that when you have the pyramid, when you calculate actually the 3Ds, the bulk of it is actually on the bottom. So it's like if I lower the top a little bit, I only lower a little bit.
I know,
it's,
but
it's actually I don't think like a lower the first floor ceiling height.
not the
It's
8 foot
gonna
necessarily, no.
it's
But the 9
not
foot
not
is
yes.
a possibility.
It's I don't think it's gonna reduce a lot because it's only the top actually dropped. The bottom, the base is still there. So the big base is still down on the bottom. The
I
number
would like
doesn't
to know
come
what
down.
that would drop it by.
'Cause
If you were to make it an 8 foot ceiling instead of a 9 foot ceiling, what would be the reduction in the pyramid relief? It might almost meet what your original variance was.
well, it looks to be, it's not, I mean, when you look at the pyramid calculations, it really is how far out the building goes
Well, that's
that
another
creates the need for the relief,
That's part of
as
this.
opposed to how high it goes.
Well, it's-
Because significant amounts of the building protrude into the pyramid simply because it is so wide on the lot.
I'm trying to
They're
come
narrow
up,
plots,
I
and
know,
that's
they're
what
narrow.
we're stuck with.
I'm trying to come up with some mitigation to justify, granting you some additional relief.
Mhm.
Why I'm asking.
I mean, like I said, I want to build a house that's similar in character and
Yeah,
size
the
as
difference
houses
between
next
a
door.
9 foot ceiling and an 8 foot ceiling, I don't think is going to make a major difference in the
Well,
character
I
of
want to
the
build a
house.
nice house. I don't want to.
It's gonna be a nice house, it's gonna be a beautiful house.
The only
Can you
thing I
bring it
see
in any
is-
from the lot line?
Right, I mean, can we, it's very close to the lot lines, I mean, is there any way to bring it in? I'm trying to come up with ways for you to,
I mean, we've spent hours and hours in this in 2014, 16, doing this. I've been here many times. And frankly, I'm exhausted. Again, if we do move outside into the AE, then we'll have all this pyramid relief. I'll go down 1,000 by just because it's calculated.
I think that's a trade-off that he's trying to make with this.
It's just a calculation. It's the same exact thing. If you calculate it differently, it drops the relief by 1,000.
Well, it's
Right,
calculated.
But it's calculated
different.
according to a zone your house is not in. So you can't sit there and say, well, actually it's less because you're not in the AE zone, you're in the
And
X
you
zone.
haven't shifted the house into the AE zone.
No, I have not.
In order
Because
to
I
take
wanted to
advantage
keep in
of
the
that.
500
I understand,
year
but
Well, the only way to do that would be to put it closer to the water.
No, I can just move it an inch any direction and it'll be in the A zone. 1 inch. So that's the
So
thing.
what's-
I designed it to be in the zone X because I want to be in the 500 year. Because if you see some of my pictures, this is the recent floods over the last year.
And 1 inch
flooding
is
the
gonna change
backyard.
that or not?
What's that?
1 inch is not gonna change.
You said if he puts it in one, if it puts
If
it
I
in
move
one
it-
inch into the AE zone, suddenly
with the
he'll be
same
able to
kind of
lift it.
request, 'cause it's a
Exactly.
different, we get a different.
It's just the
like,
calculation.
No, I understand all that, but moving the house 1 inch, how's that gonna affect your house?
It's just going to be an AE house where the pyramid
I understand.
drops.
I know, but if
That's
it's
the
only
thing.
an inch,
If it's only an inch, moving the project 1 inch, so we don't have this discussion.
I agree, but I already designed. It's already
But
been
the
designed. It's already there.
hypothetically goes into AE. Me, this is the deal. I'm 81 years old. My parents owned it. It was pre-57 zoning, all of that stuff. My thing with this, but he's trying to be reasonably fair about this. Me, I'm a stubborn person. And I'll tell you, I'd go into the AE. I've told him this. He doesn't want to do it. I would go with the AE. I'd do the 8 foot on ground level and put a monstrosity like the ones down by the Edgewater. That's or the one on across the marina on
Across-
Little Neck
across
Road.
the-
When you allow that box,
Coors Marina.
that's
that big
okay.
monster house.
No pyramid
I-
relief, anything on
I
it,
have
right?
no problem with
Yeah,
that.
that's disgusting, that house.
Sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That-
Mr.
my
Sack,
God.
I don't for a second think that you're ever gonna build a monstrosity. I think you've got good taste, I think you're gonna build a really nice house.
Well, like I
We're
said,
asking for some consideration of mitigation for this relief. And, you know, we tried to grant relief based on what we consider to be the minimal reliefs that we can grant. We don't grant it on, you know,
You know what I don't understand? This gentleman right off says I have no problem.
well, okay, he's
Yeah,
one
but he's
vote.
just one
I
vote.
know.
We're all
But
different.
here's one reasonable person.
No, that's, excuse me, no, I don't think you can say
Sometimes I'm
that.
unreasonable, though.
I don't think you can say that.
Well,
We're
I
here
think
to.
we're gonna make a trade-off and go into an AE, they do a house 36
But
foot
listen,
high
many,
in the
many
neighborhood,
times,
over town,
many
everything.
times
Hold on,
this
listen
board
to
Isn't that a
Katie.
good trade?
Listen to Katie.
Zach,
Listen to
Many
Katie.
times this board says to the applicants, withdraw your application and you can reduce all of the variances by doing that. I mean, this, I can tell you right now, sitting with this board, they would not have granted 5,292 cubic feet
Never.
of pyramid today
Never.
in an area that's not in a flood zone. So you're speaking to as you mentioned, Justin, you're speaking to a completely different board. And they're changing their precedent based on the way that they've been deciding recently.
And we're trying
So-
to
Why is
bring it
everybody
all.
moving out of New York? Why is everybody getting out of this thing?
All right.
Why is everybody what?
Regulations, moving from New York. I just want the house.
I don't think this
that
is a
makes
reason
house.
why people are moving out of New York.
There's plenty of reasons.
But I think that all that we're doing is we're asking you what opportunities are there for compromise. Your father said he's the stubborn one,
Right.
but I'm seeing a lot of it. And what I would like to see is just spitball. Think about what you could do. If you want to move it, look, if you moved it 1 inch, we wouldn't be here. And the threat of building a monstrosity doesn't really concern me because I don't, first of all,
You're not
care for threats. And second of all, you can do whatever you want with your property so long as you do it within the confines of the zoning code. So all we're looking for is a little bit of compromise, a little give and take. You're asking for
10
quite a
years
bit
ago,
of
I did
pyramid
this
relief,
compromise.
and then you're asking for us to grant you even more. And you can say all you want that it's less in the AE zone, but you're not in the AE zone. So that's just a reality.
When I went through this 10 years ago, I compromised. The house was bigger. We compromised. We redesigned it. We came back here 3 or 4 times. I did this previously. It's done. All I want to do is raise this house up so it doesn't flood.
If you can make
And
your
that's
house
really
within what that variance is, be my guest, but you're not able to do that with what you wanna do. So, look, it sounds to me like you don't necessarily have the 4 votes that you need for approval. Now, you can do a couple of things. You can go back and give some consideration to some mitigation, or you can stick with the original proposal and see if it passes. I mean, it may be that other people on the board feel very strongly one way or the other.
I notes.
I think you take it out of the zone.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'd have to swear you in if you wanted.
Margaret Zach.
All right, do swear and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, your name and address.
Margaret Zach, 26 Ridge Road in Southampton.
Okay, Margaret.
We've had this house and my husband's family all these years. My son has tried to build a nice house that would be in accordance with the neighborhood. You're asking him to go back to the drawing board again. This has been years and years and years of agony. For 1 inch, for all of you to say, he's got to go back and spend thousands of dollars more for 1 inch to go into this other zone when you could just so easily grant this. We could build a house, it will be beautiful for the community. We have a little house that isn't in accordance with the community. Now for all of this, you won't even grant this?
Well, ma'am, if I may, we did not put your son in this position. He put himself in this position. Hold on. He put himself in this position by submitting this application. So we didn't call him in and say, hey, by the way, we looked at this and we don't like this anymore. He put in this application. So when you put in an application asking for additional relief, it is not unreasonable for the town, for a board like ours, to question the relief, see what we can do in terms of compromise or mitigation. And this board, as Katie, our town attorney, has told you, is not amenable to granting thousands of cubic feet of, just a moment, thousands of cubic feet of pyramid relief. And I think what the chair said, I think very cogently, was if you can bring this in according to the current variance, we would love to see that. That's a possibility. You know, there's other options, but your son is the one asking for the relief. We didn't call him in to do this.
The other thing I just wanted to say is that you got this variance in 2016.
Yes.
8 years ago.
That's right.
So I intervened, got engaged. My
All right, look,
fiance got breast cancer. I
that-
couldn't build. I couldn't
No,
build.
I
couldn't build.
understand.
I'm trying to get back
I
and
know,
maybe
but
build
what
a
I'm
house.
just saying
I was
is
a doctor
that,
here
you
for
know,
20
these
years.
variances don't
I've treated all the people in the
open
community,
for infinity.
and this is the
Yeah.
backlash I get.
Well,
I
it's
think
not
there is
backlash, it's
something
just-
also to be said, that 1957, we've been here. So we're almost EastEnders. Ed Warren many years ago said, you gotta be at least 100 years to be EastEnders. I think there should be somewhat of consideration for a family that's been here for 60 some odd years. And we're not one of the new guys that just come out of the city.
But sir,
Say, you know, you give these people a little break.
that would be providing people with preferences that we don't provide. We treat everybody here equally, whether you've lived here for 50 years or you've lived here for 5 years. We would not be exercising our jurisdiction or our authority in a proper or ethical manner if that's something that we did.
Okay.
So we really have to be careful about
Let me say
that.
one thing to you. The house that was built right next door was one of the people coming from New Jersey. Do you
Oh,
know
God.
the name Ed Rush? Yeah. Do you know the name Ed Rush?
No.
Do any of you know it?
No.
Well, that house was built next door and violated everything under the sun. And I can tell you a story that would take a half an hour or more. Why? Because Ed Rush was the money man.
All right, look.
Next door neighbor
Okay.
paid everybody
Okay.
off. That next door neighbor still has illegal
Sir,
stuff
but that is
next door.
irrelevant to your son's
I'm
application.
just
What
saying
Mr.
what's
Rush
happened
may
here.
have done in the
There
past.
should be consideration.
Just a moment. Hold on. We don't need to get up in arms.
Oh, we do.
No, we don't.
Oh, we do.
No, we
After
don't.
being here 65 years, yes, we do.
Well, I
And
disagree
like
with
I
that.
say, my end result with this,
Okay.
he can do what he wants.
I think we
I'll
should
go
end this.
into the
Yeah,
other
let's end
zone
this.
and we'll build them
Could
best.
you
See other neighbors
bang
like
the gavel or something? Let's
See if
end
there's
this.
anybody
Yeah.
here in the audience.
Yeah.
All right,
We've
so,
had enough.
yeah, we understand your position. I think you've gotten our position, and we were hoping that maybe we can come up with some, reconsiderations, modest
May I ask you
reconsiderations.
what you're expecting now? You would say for us to do this, he has to go back to the drawing board again? Is that what you're telling us? He has to start all over
Well,
again?
I wouldn't say it's start all over again.
Simply
No, it is not start all over again. You've got the
Thousands of
plans.
dollars,
Yeah.
thousands upon
I
thousands.
recommend making a motion to close it. You can keep it open for written submissions if you guys want to consider alternatives by reducing the height of the ceiling
Right.
on the first floor to 8 feet. the board would welcome that.
Second floor
Otherwise,
Or bringing in the sides, or
So I have a two-family designation, CO right now, and I can rent the place as two-family.
Okay,
I will
look.
abort this project
All
and
right.
rent it.
Okay,
This
look.
is disgusting.
All right,
It is
all right.
beyond disgusting.
Is there
It's
anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application of 24 Old Fort Lane?
I've seen you on the TV. You're a stone crusher. You.
All right, that's enough. That is enough. Seriously,
It's
enough.
never enough.
It is enough.
Yeah. We'll see what's enough.
Is there anybody on Zoom who
ma'am,
wishes to be
please, we've had
heard
enough.
on this application?
It's had enough. Thank you.
Okay, Robert, this is yours.
I'm gonna look, we close it?
We're going
Close it, hold it
to
open for written submissions. until
close it, hold it open for
August
written
2nd,
submissions.
And a decision on 8/15.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Freeman.
Aye.
Sorry. Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Stone crushers.
Chair votes aye.
That was
8/15, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna wear that badge proudly.
Oh,
All right, enough.
compliment.
Enough discussion. We're moving on. Yes, Helen.
I just want to say in all my years on the board, I have never, ever seen an exhibition of this water sport.
all right, let's move on to C.
Okay.
John, you have
Okay.
second thoughts?
Okay, number 8 on the agenda, Dean Isidro, 1 Lily Pond Drive, Sag Harbor, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-26-1-45. On July 18, 2019, this board, by decision number D019092, in part, made a finding that the proposed 14 by 24, 336 square foot storage building is a subordinate and incidental building pursuant to Town Code Section 330-5 definitions, and conditioned the decision upon there being no habitable living space in the structure. By letter dated April 26, 2024, Susanna Herman, agent for the owner, has requested that said decision be modified to include an accessory distance from street front yard setback variance to 40.9 feet for the accessory building where 110 feet is required. It shall be noted that the size of the accessory building was reduced to 10 by 16 feet, 160 square feet.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to John Leonard?
Let me swear you in.
Oh, yes,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Susanna Herman and Consultants, 1319 North Sea Road, Southampton. This is a modification to a previous variance. You've actually seen this application or this property twice. Only the second one of those was my application, which had to do with the house. But the storage building, or shed really, was the subject of a 2019 variance. At that time, you granted relief for the swimming pool to be less than 110 feet from Lily Pond Lane. Everybody missed the fact that the shed also needed a setback relief from Lily Pond Lane. It's a very long, narrow lot. The lot is a maximum of 80 feet deep. The setback is 110 feet. So obviously you cannot meet that. They've got a building permit for the shed. They built the shed. They've passed all of their inspections. But they can't issue the certificate of compliance because we all missed this setback. I missed it. The building department missed it. Everyone reviewing the previous applications missed it. And I think because the pool is so obviously close and this shed is tucked back, it's 10 feet from the back property line, which is actually a side yard. So it meets the side yard setback and the rear yard setback, and it's as far from Lily Pond Drive as it can be.
So other than the front yard setback, it meets the other setbacks.
Correct. I have pictures if you want. There's also
And you've now changed the size of it to
10 by
it's-
16.
And it's shown on the survey as 10 by
Yes.
16.
Yeah, it got smaller since it's originally approved. It's no longer a question of whether it's subordinate to the main house, because the main house actually got a little bigger. That was the subject of the 2020 application.
Okay.
Do you want pictures?
Well, we love pictures.
Sure.
John, you're the lead on this. Do you want to
Yeah,
ask any
I
questions?
have no questions. I think this is a reasonable request for relief, and I think it's apparent that for the property owner to abide by the setbacks, you would be putting the shed in somebody else's property or on your slate deck. So I have no problem with this application.
Anybody else from the board wishes to comment?
Okay. I'll just point out, you can see from the photos that it's very well screened from the road.
Nice shed.
It's very nice. I think the homeowner basically built it himself from a kit.
So cute. Nice. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 1 Lily Pond Drive? Anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 1 Lily Pond Drive? Okay. John?
Okay, I move to close the public hearing on this application. Keep it open for written submissions by August 2nd with a decision by August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio?
Aye.
Mr. Redmond?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Ms. Kane? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Number 12 on the agenda, William Dawson, 710 Patrick Street, West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-308-5-44.
Candace, were you able to forward the documents, or I made hard?
I believe they, I didn't forward it.
Okay.
Well, but if you have copies, then in Katie, she can.
Sure, I have hard copies. I forwarded some information that was requested in our last,
Okay, good.
but here's hard copies.
Is there one for everybody?
Yes.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Dawson, I think I swore you in, right?
Excuse me?
You've already been sworn in before?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to do that again.
Bob is the lead on this. Thank you.
And do you know if the letter from my neighbor Candace was forwarded as well?
Robert, this is for you.
Do you know if they have the letter from my neighbor?
What's the name's name?
Ruben Boscan.
I don't think that's him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I asked him for a copy just in case.
Yeah, I don't think he emailed it to me.
No, he said he did.
Robert?
Yeah, he said he did. I asked him about a week ago. I said, did you email that? He said, yes. He goes, I'll give you a copy if you want.
Okay, just you can have the copy, I'll take it.
You have a copy too?
Yeah, I didn't want it to come.
No, that's great.
unprepared.
That's great.
So he said he emailed
He
it.
could
I
have.
trust him.
She gets so
My
many.
apologies,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she did, I published his name, he emailed it on the night.
Okay, terrific, thank you. So I didn't want to come without.
Well done.
No, I'm
without-
glad you got a copy, because I'm actually just seeing it now, so.
All right, appreciate that.
Appreciate it, thank you.
For Bob?
Thanks.
Okay. So when last
good
we
evening.
talked, we had a couple of questions for you, and you've come prepared to answer them, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's hear what the answers are.
So when I was here last time, it was with regard to the shed that was a few feet away from being in compliance with the zone regulations.
Right.
So I was asking for a variance so as not to have to move it, and I was requested to get some more information because you said, well, can you relocate it? What would be the cost of relocating or removing, or what are the other options? So the first document is actually, I found the original receipt of sale from 2013. Birdhouse Kingdom was the name of the company. They've since changed their name. It took me a long time to find that out, but they are now the New York Shed Company. It is the exact same people. They have, you can see they have the exact same phone number. Everything is the same. They said, yes, that's us. We just had a new name. So I asked them, can you come and let me know what is it going to take to move it? Because I didn't even know that was an option. And they said, we could probably move it. So they said, let's take a look. When they saw this is the only access to the backyard, they say, we can't get our machinery in there to move that. And what happened is that in the interim time, my yard has, you can tell by the first page, the way it slopes down, you can see the height of the shed. It slopes down incredibly dramatically, And that's why I terraced that portion of my property in order to make it usable. The only thing it was good for was putting my 4-year-old on a sled and pushing him down in the winter. So he said, the machinery will crack that. And he said, we put this on all of our estimates to say we are not responsible for anything, if anything breaks. I said, well, I don't want you to do that. So that's why he said, well, he says, look, and he put it in the notes. He said, unable to move shed. This is on page 2. Page 2. Because I said, give me an estimate for moving it. I'll pay it. He said, we're unable to move the shed with our machinery. Terrace landscape prohibits machinery from getting to site of shed. He spelled site wrong, but I don't actually know what it is. It's from getting to the site of the shed. So I said, all right, what is my next option? I said, the board asked me maybe we could break it down and move it piece by piece, get some men in there. And I said, give me an estimate for that. So he said, all right. So page 3, the estimate for that. He said, when was the shed built? And he said, and his notes were, rebuilding existing shed is not feasible due to extra cost in material and labor. Recommended to demo and build a new shed. That's exactly what I don't want to hear. The shed is in beautiful condition. It's terrific. There's nothing, if I have to move it, I'd move it. He said, once we start taking it apart, we can't. You got to demo it. What's the cost of demo and rebuild? He goes, well, I'm not going to give you the cost of demo. You demo it so you save money and I'll rebuild it. So then I said, give me the estimate for that. And that's the 4th page. So the 4th page shows he put in the same size, the same color, all the same everything. Estimated it. And at today's cost, the total came out to be $7,386, which is considerably larger than the original cost of about $3,800.
20.
Yeah, 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
right.
I
Yeah,
you're
with all
right.
the tax and stuff. So he said, and then when I got to him, I called him back and I said, you didn't put in the build on site 20%. He goes, oh yeah, you're right. Add 20%. But by that time he had already sent this. So it's not even 7,300. It's an additional, because they can't get it. A lot of times they build these sheds and just truck them in. Plenty of room on most people's properties. So so whatever 20% is on that, add that. Most people, he says, yeah, we bring it in, we drop it on the site. That's what we do. I said, well, he said, we can't do that with you. The backyard is extremely small. It's extremely small.
So this letter from Mr. Boskamp.
Oh, and then I asked my neighbor, because
Yeah.
this is Mr. Boskamp's. He's lot 109, and I have the photos. He's directly to the side of me. He's the one whose tent is the first page. You can see the tent. That's his tent. It's on his deck. It's a party. It's a family tent, party tent. He has it up there all the time. Great, and enjoy yourself.
And your shed is the thing behind it with the star on it?
That's right. That's exactly right. So he has his tent up, and so he knows it's there. He's like, yeah. He said, no problem. Years ago, put it up. He goes, this tent is always up. It's always in your site. He goes, we're neighbors. It's not a big deal. So he said, there's my shed. That sort of thing. So I asked him. I said, can you write me a letter, because there's so much greenery everywhere else, and actually the greenery obscures some of it from him, but it obscures it completely from every single other neighbor that I have, including lot 120 and lot 121, which are the two directly to the back of me. Here's a photo of lot 120 and 121.
That's you standing in that lot looking at your shed.
It's actually me standing on my deck, looking onto the neighbor's properties to see who would see it. You can see number 120, they just let everything overgrow. It's been like that since the last 20 years. Lot 121 is completely open. I took another 2 pictures to show you up close. Lot 120, that's the one that the shed's closest to. Basically, all of this obscures it from everybody's view, just about. And then lot 121 shows the playground area. And it was suggested that, well, could it be moved maybe to that playground area? The playground area, as you can see, is in complete view of my other neighbor. So where it is now is the best possible place it can be for me, because I wouldn't have to move it and incur additional costs other than the ones I've already spent to try to get the variance and with the shed company, you know, et cetera. My neighbor over here would probably not be happy because now it's in complete view, but I can't even move it because I can't get the machinery in there to move it because my property is so darn small. As you can see, it's like a bowling alley. That's all I have room for. And wouldn't have even had that if I hadn't leveled that, because the land went down like this and I did that to it to make it possible to put in a swing set for my kids. The other only entertainment they would have had was that February, me pushing them down the hill. So now we were able to, you know, give them a spot. I'm not opposed, even though we take care of my nieces and nephews who sometimes will play on the swing set. It's not even really possible to move it, and it would be in a much more visible location to that neighbor. And I was hoping my neighbor would write me a letter. He thankfully did, and that's the letter that I asked him to email and share with you.
It's very positive.
It's a very nice letter.
He's,
Very nice letter.
well, I thought so too, and I appreciated his support. He said, I'm the one who it would affect, if anybody. We're never moving. He actually owns a few houses in this development. His kids are going to live there because you can't afford anything. And, you know, he said, absolutely no problem. So I was hoping
Well,
that
Mr. Dawson, I personally appreciate very much that you went to the effort to try to find, you know, we asked you questions. You went and you looked at alternative locations. You looked at costs. You said it's impossible to move. It's a very nice looking shed. I have no problem with this application at this point.
Either do I. I agree with Susan.
Thank you.
I do too, and thank you for your effort.
Yeah, no, we
Thank you.
really appreciate it.
It
We
was a lot of
ask
work.
everybody
Thank
to
you.
do
No,
this
and I
because,
respect that.
well, because we want to make sure that, you know, we don't miss anything. So, and you were really very, very good about getting it done and quickly, and that's where I stand.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, Robert, this is
Okay.
yours.
This is mine. I'm going to move to close the meeting, hold it open for written submissions to August 2nd with a decision on August 15th.
Second.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms.
Sorry.
Kane.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. McDonald.
All right.
Mr. Redmond.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very
We have a
much.
Thank you,
decision on
folks.
the E15. You don't have to come. You
Yeah.
can sign on.
Oh, I don't have to come.
No,
You
no,
don't have to
no.
come. You can canvass.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Are you here for,
Decisions.
Which one are you here for?
Are you here for JP Squared?
we have to do the resolution, the secret, but then we can go to,
43, 47 Pinecrest Lane, is that correct?
it's not, it's adjourned.
It's adjourned decision. Oh.
That decision
Oh.
unfortunately has been adjourned until August 1st.
August 1st.
So you've been sitting here, we did that, we did,
Entertaining.
yeah, I know, it was a pretty exciting meeting, so yes, but I'm sorry. I know, there you go. But in the beginning of the meeting, we usually go through the decisions and we announce which ones are adjourned, which ones are gonna hear. So for future reference, yeah, she's gonna give you a,
You can call for it too.
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. Well, we had an audience, it was very nice having you here. All right, let's do the secret
What?
resolution first.
Oh, I have to call number 14. I'm sorry. Number 14. Secret resolution, Ariat LLC. Wait, what? Wait, I'm looking at it. Okay. 292 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-253-1-25.
Do we have a resolution on?
Is it in your folder?
No, it's
I
not.
printed it out, but I don't, let me just make sure this is. the
I
right
do
one.
not have it in my folder. Wait a second. Is it in the minutes folder?
You can use this one. I actually just was following along. And I
Oh,
have
here it
print.
is. I got it. But it's in the minutes.
Correct. I don't think it has the correct tax number. So, John,
Give me the correct one then.
it's in the agenda. The correct tax number is in the agenda. He just read it.
Okay.
I just read it, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read the resolution. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals has received a request and submittals for a variance for the size of 3 proposed commercial buildings in connection with the application of ARYA-T LLC for property located at 292 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-253-1-25. Whereas after review of the documents submitted, the zoning board of appeals found that this project is a type 1 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, (SEQRA), and coordinated review with the following involved agencies: Southampton Town Planning Board, Suffolk County Department of Health Services, and Suffolk County Department of Public Works. And whereas the Southampton Town Planning Board at its June 13, 2024 meeting indicated that they would like to assume lead agency status in connection with the SEQRA review of this project, now therefore be it resolved that the Southampton Town ZBA hereby agrees that the Southampton Town Planning Board should assume lead agency status with regards to the application of Arya-T LLC pursuant to 6 NYCRR Section 617.6b, and further be it resolved that this board directs that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Southampton Town Planning Board, Suffolk County Department of Health Services, and Suffolk County Department of Public Works.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Mastrobio.
Aye.
Mr. Redmond.
Abstain.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald. Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, so six in favor, one abstain.
Yes, we just have to check, we have to correct the tax map number on that one. In the resolution, yeah, I think I wrote the wrong one.
Okay.
Katie, on my decision, is it 177 Brady's or Birdie's path?
Birdies. Or Britties.
I think it's Bridie's.
I don't know which one.
Okay, so let's go to decisions.
Start with Fisher, because this gentleman is waiting.
Oh, is that,
He's here for Fisher Organization.
Yeah.
Just before you do that, what application are you talking about? I can look at
Mara,
what she's reading.
Mara's and Bersham.
Stefano Mara.
Okay, I'll take a look at it while she's reading that. Or while somebody's reading Fisher.
all right. It's Helen's, but I will read it for you, Helen. The Fisher Organization LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-142-3-10. This application is for property located at 17 Cypress Avenue, Flanders. Applicant requests a use variance to construct a single-family dwelling in a village business zoning district where the use is prohibited. Considering the neighborhood, the size of the premises, as well as the constraints on the premises, this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants a use variance from Town Code Section 330-30 General Regulations as it relates to Town Code Section 330-33 Business District Tables of Use Regulations to construct a one-family dwelling in the village business zone where a one-family dwelling is a prohibited use.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Mastrobio.
Aye.
Mr. Redmond.
Abstain.
Mr. McDonald.
No.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. You're done. You're welcome. Okay, who wants to read next?
Thank you.
Right, so we only have a couple.
Okay, I'll read the next one because it seems like it's the longest of the
Which one's
bunch. It's the Carrie O. Kunowitz. All right, I have a decision in the Carrie O. Kunowitz matter of Suffolk County Tax Map 900-96-3-44. This application is for property located at 170 Little Fresh Pond Road, North Sea. Applicant requests variances for a new two-story dwelling and enclosure of a proposed outdoor shower on an undersized lot burdened by 3 front yards. After modifying the plans to reduce both the lot coverage and pyramid encroachment, the board finds that this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1. For a new single-family two-story dwelling on a non-conforming lot. A. Town Code Section 330-11-115D, continuance, for a front yard setback of 11.6 feet where 14.8 feet is pre-existing for a proposed porch on the east side of the property, and for a front yard setback on the westerly property line of 25.5 feet where 29.9 feet is pre-existing. 2. Town Code Section 330-11 Resident District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a total lot coverage of 25.5% where a maximum of 20% is permitted. 3. Town Code Section 330-84D Pyramid Law for a total pyramid encroachment of 2,673 cubic feet, 1,300 1,033 cubic feet on the south and 1,333 cubic feet on the north, plus 7 cubic feet on the east. And 4, Town Code Section 330-109A, fences, walls, accessory driveway structures, and clotheslines, to allow a fence over 4 feet in height to enclose the outdoor shower in the required front yard north side of the property. These variances are granted as shown on the survey prepared by Lester Holden of Squires Holden, Weissenbacher, and Smith, last revised June 6, 2024, and the plans and elevations shown on pages A2 and A3, prepared by Sean Leonard, R.A., dated May 23, 2023. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicants have already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises, including 1, installation prior to the issuance of any certificates and continued maintenance by the applicant and all successors in title of vegetative screening along the northern property line, screening both the garage and the outdoor shower, and 2, as is required by the town code, the degree of nonconformity of the pre-existing garage cannot be increased.
Second.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
No.
Mr. McDonald.
No.
Mr.
Abstain.
Ms. Burgess.
Yes.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Who's next? Julie?
Yes. This is Michael and Diana Saris, SCTM 900-54-2-27. This application is for property located at 259 Haynes Path, Sagaponack. Applicant seeks single and separate determination for the subject premises. Based on the testimony and evidence submitted, the board finds that the subject premises, that is SCTM number 900-54-2-27, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code 330-115D. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the separation of common ownership within 6 months of the decision.
Second.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Rickon.
Abstain.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. John?
Okay, I have a decision in the application of Robert Flaster and Inessa Borochov, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-6-2-35.21. This application is for property located at 32 Emerson Place, Noyak. Applicant requests variances for a proposed garage addition to the existing dwelling on a lot that is burdened by 2 front yards, one that is considered a future road reverter. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations that references Town Code Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal front yard setback from the west property line, Emerson Place, of 56 feet where 60 feet is required, and a principal front yard setback of 15.5 feet where 60 feet is required from a future roadway, Spring Lane, for a proposed garage addition to an existing dwelling as shown on the survey prepared by John Barilski, dated February 28, 2024, and the plans prepared by Michael Sedano, R.A., dated February 28, 2024. Grant of the foregoing is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Rickon.
Abstain.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, Bob.
We know what that was, a bird? Right.
Right.
Right, okay. I just didn't want to. This is for the application of Stefano Maris and Natalie Bergamashi, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-64-2-20. This application is for property located at 177 Bridie's Path, North Sea. Applicant requests variances for a detached garage that was built pursuant to a building permit but cited incorrectly. While this board does not condone construction done that is not in conformance with an issued building permit, it does find the application passes the standards set forth New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a detached garage constructed under building permit P088933 but cited incorrectly on a non-conforming lot. Section 330 11 Residence Districts Table of Dimensions and Regulations for an accessory side yard setback of 8.5 feet where 10 feet is required, and 2, Section 330-84D Pyramid Law for a sky plane encroachment in the amount of 98.12 cubic feet as shown on the survey prepared by Paul Baraliski, land surveyor, dated September 12, 2023, and the garage plans and elevations prepared by MCH Design Services, sheets A1 and A2, dated May 19, 2022, and sheet at 11 inches and 17 inches labeled A1, dated November 28, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to other and such conditions as permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the maintenance of all perimeter vegetation screening by the garage, by the applicant, and all successors in interest.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Rubin.
Abstain.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, and
GP squared.
JP
Yeah.
squared.
Okay. Ready?
yeah, go ahead.
JP Squared LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-293-2-8. This application is for property located at 6 Wilson Avenue, Hampton Bays. Applicant seeks variances for an existing swimming pool and decking built in the location approved by the building department where a building department permit was issued in error. With screening now required, the board finds that this application passes the standard set forth in the New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief for the following provisions of the code. 1, for a swimming pool, Town Code Section 330-6, General Regulations as it relates to Town Code Section 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory yard setback of 9.8 feet where 20 feet is required, and 2, Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C, yards, in parentheses, to allow a swimming pool to remain within the required minimum and total side yard for the principal building, and 2, for the deck around the swimming pool. Item I, single I, Town Code Section 330-6 as it relates to Town Code 330-11 for an accessory rear yard setback of 6.3 feet and an accessory side yard setback of 6.2 feet where 20 is required. And item 2, Town Code Section 330-76D and Town Code Section 330-83C to allow the deck to be located within the required minimum side yard and total side yards for principal building as shown on the survey prepared by Robert W. Ott, LS, last revised May 16, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is conditioned upon the following. 1, the installation of 10 7 to 8 foot tall eastern red cedars planted 7 feet on center running along the west side of the pool deck for a length of approximately 78 feet prior to the issuance of any certificates for the pool and or decking. Item 2, the maintenance of the aforementioned trees by the applicant and all successors in title. This decision is also subject to other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. McDonald.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Kane.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Rubin.
Abstain.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Do I have a motion to?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kevin, we're closed.